to his side of the bed. She said, walk over here to that mirror, turn around and come back. She had me in on that belt, had a hand holding my belt. I walked over there and turned around, went back, went to sit down on the bed. She said, nope, stand up. You go walk one more time. I said, okay. I walked one more time. And she came back and I went to sit in the bed. She said, nope, you're going to sit up in that chair. And she put me in a big old chair. And I sat there all day Monday. I think we had something on Monday night, and I listened to it 8 o'clock. Yeah, I finally laid down, got back in the bed at 8 o'clock, slept good, and she come back in there Tuesday morning. She made me walk 4 times. Oh, I said, I'm ready to go home now. And I got to feeling better, feeling good, and they sent me home. But I got a lot to go, a lot of things they say wrong with me. But you know what? I ain't going to worry about nothing. I got the good Lord on my side, 107, 100.7. That's Clemson Station. I like to listen to them so I can butt in and call over Debo once in a while. Well, that's what I got. I got me a new book for my. I'm going to try to get my bowl things all wound up, set up. I'm going to be all right. It's going to take a while, but keep me in your prayers, and I'll be okay. I want to tell all of y'all I love you. I love 107.5, especially Jennifer. She keeps you rolling, Bill. I still ain't forgot my buddy Bill. I did forget you for a while. I didn't know where I was at. But the good Lord take care of everything. Love all y'all. Take care. Talk to you later. Go Gamecock. Roll Tide.
Hey, I just want to check.
Tide.
I just want to check. I heard a rumor. That they threatened to draw a Clemson Tiger paw on you if you didn't get up and walk around enough. Is that true?
No,
You sure?
Did you see that thing on Facebook where I had my Dr. Bulldog wearing a Gamecock Larry shirt all day? I think it was all day Sunday. I don't know. Did you see that?
I did not.
Look on Facebook. Oh, Dr. Bulldog called me. I think it was called me Friday because I went to the hospital Saturday morning. Come in there and call me and get bragging. All they got calls from Dalton, got calls from Gainesville, got calls from Moultrie, place I had never heard of. Oh, the dog's going to lay it on the tide. And I stuck. I said, the old man going to show you. I said, it's going to be Roll Tide. Oh, I said, old Dr. Bulldogs, and I'll tell you what, if Georgia beats Alabama, you got to wear a Georgia shirt and a cap. I said, I'll go get one right. He said, no, you ain't got to buy one. I said, I'll loan you one. I said, okay. I said, now, if Alabama beats Georgia, you got to wear a Gamecock Larry T-shirt to work, I guess, Sunday. And sure enough, he showed up, had it on, took pictures of my daughter. She made sure it got on Facebook. All the way to Alabama, all the way, everywhere. They showed us old Dr. Bulldog wearing a Gamecock Larry T-shirt. Roll Tide. One other thing. Georgia is going to show Florida State they did not belong in the 14 playoff. 63% strength of schedule. 63 colleges got a better strength of schedule than Georgia. Than Florida State. Florida State, who they play? Syracuse. Clemson and ESU. That's about all they done. Georgia gonna roll over them by 17 points, if not more. Alabama is going to win. Roll Tide is going to win the NCAA playoffs. And when all this gets done,
15 or 30
schools that got the most money, you can pay all the players they want. Every year it's going to be the same 12 teams. And I do not count Clemson as one of those 12. So all them blowers like 12, South Carolina.
All right, hey, we got. I got Jen yelling at me. We got to hit a break, buddy. We love you, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Talk to you later. Roll Tide.
You're having Jen yell at me. We got to hit a break. We'll come
I'm so
back.
mean.
You are. That's all right. That's all right. I'll take it. We'll be back. You're listening to the early game.
Download the 107.5 The Game app and listen anywhere. The beach, the gym, and yes, even there. Go to iTunes or Google Play and snag the 107.5 The Game app. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studios, this is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Get ready to ring in the holiday season with Gamecock fans of all ages at the Making Spirits Bright Holiday Pop-Up Experience at Williams-Brice Stadium, presented by Coca-Cola. Tickets are now on sale for this 3-night event, which begins on December 6th. Get your tickets today to join us at the Making Spirits Bright Holiday Pop-Up and experience the magic of the holiday season. Visit GamecocksOnline.com/holiday to learn more about the Holiday Pop-Up at Williams-Brice Stadium, December 6th through the 8th.
Christmas is here.
The holidays start here at Kroger with a variety of options to celebrate traditions old and new. Whether you're making a traditional roasted turkey or spicy turkey tacos, your go-to shrimp cocktail, or your first Cajun risotto, Kroger has all the freshest ingredients to embrace your traditions. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Select varieties are just $3.99 each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Scott here from Traditions Fine Jewelers, announcing a special diamond event that you're not going to want to miss. We're celebrating the fact that we now have our own growing chamber in the largest lab-growing diamond laboratory in the world by having a Labaganza event this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, December 7th, 8th, and 9th. We'll have beautiful loose diamonds up to 12 carats. That's right, 6-carat pairs, 7-carat rounds, 8-carat ovals, even amazing 12-carat emerald cut. We'll have diamond studs up to 8-carat total weight, and diamond tennis bracelets and necklaces up to 10-carat total weight. Best of all, we'll have diamond jewelry to suit every budget, with prices starting at just $199, and everything will be value priced with spectacular savings. We'll even have interest-free financing for qualified buyers. So come see us this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, get her the Christmas gift she deserves, and save big at the Tradition Labaganza event, only at Traditions Fine Jewelers in Lexington on Sunset and Sandhills next to the fountain, where the Midlands get engaged.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at Metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
Those stomach issues ruined your birthday.
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa?
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Plus, text entitled with approved credit card 866-243-4623 for details.
It's the most wonderful buy of the year.
You'll be singing about savings during the sale of the year at JT's Dodgeland and JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. 12,000 off new Jeeps. Your stocking will be stuffed when you save 12 grand on new Rams. Chargers and Challengers 6,000 off. Get 2.9% for 72 months. And if you've got coal in your credit stocking, come see JT. JT'sCars.com. Wrap up the year sales event.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most, like dinner with loved ones, letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at fepblue.org.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
Well, we have sort of a busy start to your morning already. I-77 northbound at Killian Road, an accident there. Also, I-77 northbound at Farrow Road, there is an accident as well. So be careful out there this morning, especially traveling on I-77 northbound. Cool and breezy today, 57 for the high. It's going to be chilly tomorrow morning when you get up. The overnight low of 30 and sunny and 57 tomorrow, overnight low of 35. Warming up a little bit for the weekend. 64 on Friday, 72 on Saturday, and maybe a chance for some rain on Sunday. But right now it's pretty decent. It is 44 on the early game.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Yeah. Get up. Yeah.
6:21 on a Wednesday morning. And we've obviously had a lot going on this week with transfer portal news, with NIL discussion, with some coaching changes. We'll continue to monitor that. Clemson at least making a change with offensive line and defensive end. 2 changes, but making a change there. So we've had a lot to get to. So it's kind of limited, unfortunately, the opportunities to talk about what conceivably is the most exciting South Carolina Clemson basketball game in this series in about 25 years.
Wow.
26 years. These things were really, I think they reached for me, mind you, maybe during the McGuire days, it was a little bit more heated. I'm not sure. The stories I hear feel like it was more heated with North Carolina, with Duke, with NC State, with those Tobacco Road schools. But the Eddie Fogler, Rick Barnes 3-4 year run there from about 94, I guess, to about 98, somewhere in there, seemed to be peak things. I think one of those games even featured South Carolina Clemson as top 10 teams. Might have been. I'd have to go back. I've been looking for a history of that. But tonight will be the first time where both teams have played at least 3 games that both teams face each other as undefeated teams. Clemson jumping into the polls this week, South Carolina receiving votes. This should be a fun one, and you're ready to proclaim in Lamont Paris's limited tenure so far, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, last year they were 11-21. Let's do the math real quick. 11-21. This year they're 7-0. This will be game 40, right?
It's time.
Okay. Lamont Paris, I don't know if they've bust up there this morning. Our good buddy Lamont probably will be in studio with us next week.
It's time.
Preston Thorne is ready to declare tonight a big one for you. Not just a big one. What do you got?
Biggest game of your career, coach. Play the hits. Listen, It's the biggest game of his career. And obviously basketball is totally different than football because they're going to play again. And it's not going to be, well, these two teams, but they'll play again in a couple of days. So the finality of the game is not the same thing. But
you mean, wait, be clear, I know what you mean. You don't mean they will play each other again. Just for
Right.
anybody like, wait a minute, Preston. No. You just mean they play another basketball game.
Yes. In football, you play one and then it's like, man, we got a whole 7 days before and then whatever. I think this is a huge game because we're getting into the stage of this season where we've been asking this question, like, can we tell what a team actually is by how they perform earlier in the season? Obviously, there will be some ebbs and flows throughout the season, but I'm wondering if by winning this game, could Lamont Paris and crew stamp themselves as being a legit team? Not necessarily a contender for any type of titles or things like that, but are we starting to see this is a legit team that's going to go into the SEC play and really try and stir some things up, or even maybe make a bid towards the postseason? And I'm wondering if this game specifically, because not just because it's a rivalry, because Clemson is playing well also, that this is an indicator for maybe what this team is throughout the year.
Yes and no is my answer to your.
So you're saying it's not the biggest game of his life ever?
Not of his life,
Okay,
because he's coached in a Final Four with Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He was in an NCAA tournament game there against Illinois. So those take a slight precedent over a non-conference early season game. However, there are parts to this. Look, we saw it just this past weekend. Appalachian State on the road. Or excuse me, I should say Auburn on the road at App State loses. UNC Wilmington, who got, I think, demolished by somebody. I was looking at this over the weekend. UNC Wilmington lost by 30, like to App State or somebody. They went on the road to Kentucky and won. Southern went into Mississippi State and beat Mississippi State. And you go, okay, why are you telling me this? Because, look, you can't just say, with certainty, this is definitely the toughest team left on the non-conference schedule for South Carolina.
Okay.
But when I give you those results, it doesn't mean that after this game, Lamont Paris and his team could just roll the balls out for the next 4 non-conference games and win. You've got to go earn them still, if that makes sense. It's not just going to work that way. But if you win this game tonight, you do open a significant door to the probability of being able to go completely undefeated in non-conference play. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you they've played this grueling non-conference slate, but I will tell you that going from 11-21 to undefeated in non-conference play is not something to shrug off. You likely give yourself a very real possibility of eclipsing your total wins last year, 11, just in non-conference play. And Preston, regardless of how good, it gives them a lot of confidence, believing in themselves going into conference play.
Yeah, and what you know about, just from what I've seen, what we've seen from Coach being in the studio, the few clips that we've seen on social media, this team, based on his leadership style, is not going to get super high or super low. So I think we can see a mark of consistency from this team. And one of the things that I remember distinctly from Frank Martin that he used to say is that it's very hard to beat old in college football. I mean, college basketball. That was something that he was very, very staunch on. And when we look at this Lamont Paris team, it is a team full of veterans. He has a team full of older guys and some younger guys that are pulling up from behind. And it looks like the way he's molded this roster, these guys, I don't think they're going to be intimidated by the moment that the game's going to present tonight.
They're not. And I don't think there's going to be an intimidation factor by Clemson. Clemson will be number 24 in the AP top 25. If you win this one, if South Carolina were to win this one and win Saturday, they'll play East Carolina. You just mentioned at noon, ESPNU. They got to go to Greenville, North Carolina to play East Carolina. The remainder of the schedule is Charleston Southern, Winthrop, Elon, and Florida A&M. And no offense to Charleston Southern, Elon, or Florida A&M. They are 3 of the worst teams in college basketball. They are bottom. They're in the 300s in the KenPom rankings, and they're bad. And I'm not trying to be. I'm just being real here. Numbers speak for themselves. But if you can win these 2 this week, you stand a reasonable chance to be ranked next Monday. And again, Preston, sometimes that's what you need. I think South Carolina basketball has a history of catching bad luck when it matters most.
I agree.
Like, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's a Frank McGuire curse. I don't know what it is, but it feels like when South Carolina's right there, perfect examples, the Final Four. A lot of people I've talked to that were affiliated with that program believe if Sindarius Thornwell does not get sick, that they beat Gonzaga. He was sick during the game, but I think when they got out there, that they beat Gonzaga, and they think they definitely would have taken down North Carolina. You know, whether that's just people saying it's just like us, 2 plays away from beating Clemson a few weeks ago. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But the bottom line is that there's another time. I'll go on to say that there was an era in the Darren Horn portion that if Dominique Archie doesn't get hurt in Charleston, in the Charleston Classic, that team ends up being incredible with Devin Downey and Zam Frederick and Mike Holmes. They would kick off Mike Holmes later in the season, but we'll get into some more of that. We'll talk a little bit more about this game, and we'll get into also Dawn Staley nipping it in the bud.
Yeah, Dawn, the queen has spoken.
All right, we'll get into a little bit of that as well. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It is the early game.
Be listening to the game for your chance to win a family 4-pack to go see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at Colonial Life Arena Friday, December 8th. You can purchase tickets by going to livenation.com.
You know what? Really nice weekend. You heard me just mention South Carolina, East Carolina, noon on ESPNU. You've got Army, Navy this coming weekend. You got so many fun things that you can do this coming weekend. And you know what? One of those things is grilling out. It's going to be a nice weekend. And for me, that means a trip over to Old Timey Meat Market. You can't start thinking about it too soon. It's Wednesday. You need to go ahead and start planning your meal. And you know what? There's 3 locations to choose from for you to stop by with Old Timey Meat Market. You can stop by the St. Andrews Road in Irmo. You can stop by South Congaree, or you'll likely see me at the Lexington store. Maybe it's a great weekend for steaks. Maybe a nice bacon-wrapped filet. How about that? Beautiful steak. Throw it on the grill. Have yourself a great Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Or maybe you want to go with some breakfast items. How about some beautiful thick-cut bacon? Absolutely delicious Southern-style biscuits. Whatever you need, Old Timey Meat Market has got you taken care of. So stop by Old Timey Meat Market today. Tell them you heard it here on 107.5 The Game with Bill Gunner.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where next-level internet speeds means next-level productivity. Choose BreezeLine and go boss mode with next-level internet and faster speeds backed by a fiber-powered network. Terms and conditions apply. Go to breezeline.com to learn more.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet, where saving is always the name of the game. The lowest price, guaranteed, or they'll pay you $1,000. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
Plus, text title with group credit card 66243-4623 for details.
It's the most wonderful buy of the year.
You'll be singing about savings during the sale of the year at JT's Dodgeland and JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. 12,000 off new Jeeps. Your stocking will be stuffed when you save $12,000 on new Rams. Chargers and Challengers, 6,000 off. Get 2.9% for 72 months. And if you've got coal in your credit stocking, come see JT. JT'sCars.com. Wrap up the year sales event.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the worry. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
This is Danny Hood. And this is William DiMaggio with the Hood team at Coldwell Banker Realty. Our 38 years of experience in Columbia real estate has taught us the importance of pricing a house correctly, and that can't be done by relying on websites and their vague algorithms that don't take into account the unique features of your home. The Hood team will always do a comprehensive analysis of your home to make sure that it's priced properly in today's challenging market. Call us at 803-730-2512 or online at thehoodteam.com.
Get your home insanely clean with Zerust Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Call now to get 3 rooms cleaned for only $129. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you can get your hallway cleaned for free. Easily schedule online at ZerustColumbia.com.
For whatever you may want, in most any kind of sport, Cotton Home is where it begins.
It's the Christmas kickoff sale where Todd Moore has hundreds of gift ideas for men, women, and children. Shoes, apparel, equipment, and more. Name brand you'll love and selections for every budget. From football, baseball, and basketball to tennis, pickleball, and soccer, Todd Moore has the best selection and prices. Todd Moore, 620 Hugie Street at Blossom near the campus.
Equipment for your sport, from the diamond to the court, Todd and Moore is where it begins.
Mobile phones, video games, texting. Do you feel like your family's getting lost in the virtual world? It's time to unplug and get dirty in the real world. Get connected on a new Honda CRF dirt bike from Carolina Honda Powerhouse. CRF 50s, 110s, 125s, and the 125 big wheel in stock and ready to ride. Buy now and we'll store your purchase until Christmas. Carolina Honda Powerhouse. Exit 70 off I-20 and turn by the Flying J or visit carolinahonda.com. Intended for off-road operation only. Parents need to consider a rider's age, size, ability, and maturity before allowing them to ride.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
And things are a little bit busy out on the highways this morning, and we are looking at I-77 northbound having a little bit of an issue, both at exit 19 and 22. So, again, if you're heading northbound on I-77, expect a couple slowdowns there to get through those areas. As far as your forecast is concerned, we're looking for a high today, 57, a little bit breezy out there, and then the overnight low of 30. So it's going to be chilly tomorrow morning. 57 for the high tomorrow, though, under sunny skies, 64 on Friday. Right now, we start out the day at 46 on the early game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
You did have that, Curtis. I did have that Curtis Blow ready if you wanted it.
Welcome everybody back in. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, early game. We've been talking about, well, I've been talking about, I said that, Lamar Parrish has the biggest game of his life. Coming here and Bill sort of tampered that flame a little bit. He just tamped it down slightly.
Yeah, slight. Shane Beamer, I don't think did we say he played in a national championship
I said it's the
game?
biggest game he's ever been involved in sports.
Yeah,
history,
you even went a little bit further. Yeah.
And I was correct. I was right. But this one, maybe Bill rightfully tamped the flame. But speaking of tamping down the flames, the Queen has spoken. Obviously, the women have been. It's been really interesting to watch this year's team because, as a lot of people have said, and I've been saying, when somebody says a breath of fresh air, that you tend to think that that's because something previously was a bad thing. Right. That's obviously not the case here. We had one of the greatest, most historical runs of a freshman group of women that come through. But we watched them for 4 years. We knew what those women were, how they played, what they did. We expected what we expected out of those teams. We have a whole new group of women on Dawn Staley's team this year, and it's been really fun and interesting to see how the team develops, who makes the plays, what plays are going to be made, everything that happens on the court. And so with that being said, they had their trip up through North Carolina last week where they played the University of North Carolina and they played Duke on this past Sunday. And, the basketball phrase is rock fight. They were in two very heavy ball games.
They were.
And the games were, I won't say overtly physical, but let's say that both sides were very much got their shots in of what the game was. And so the games got tested. It was a little bit emotional, and we saw some things out of some players that we hadn't seen characteristically out of Dawn's teams. And Coach Staley addressed some of these issues about what she had to say to the teams after these last two games.
Malaysia's a great player. Like, seriously, like to be able to handle the adverse situation. And Malaysia's a great player. Like, seriously, like to be able to handle the adverse situation in North Carolina to talk to her and address it. And sometimes she doesn't really understand, and then when we talk, she has a better understanding. Like if I had to ask her what was the difference between North Carolina and Duke, she said defense. Plain and simple. Like it's not offensively. There's nobody in the country that can touch the things that she's able to do. But if she doesn't defend, you're giving up more than you're giving, and that's hard, and especially when it's a tough competition, tough environment. Sometimes having her experience, sitting and watching, will pay dividends for the rest of the year. She understands that she's a different player in practice, defending the basketball. So, although it's hard to swallow. I mean, it's hard to swallow as a great young player for her family, for her, for the community. It's hard. It's hard for me. Like, it really is hard for me to have her sit there. But I'm all for making her uncomfortable early, so we never have to experience that again. I'm hoping that's the case. Powell deserved to be in the game. But I did ask Powell, hey Powell, we need this youngster to go through this experience. He's like, yeah, I'm good, I'm cool. So it is being able to communicate with players who earned it, who has the experience to be in the game. But the sacrifice, and not a whole lot of people will know that, but I'm saying it because I'm proud of that, because that's not your normal response. Okay, so I'm proud of Powell for taking it on the chin, but also if you communicate with the players that have a better understanding, they're not thinking about what did I do wrong, why didn't I go back in the game. Powell knows she's got a lot of great moments.
5.
She had a great moment for us in building the lead.
So that was one clip, and it wasn't a clip that I thought of, but it does bring up a really interesting question when we talk about, can there be honesty in sports? We're going to have this conversation later talking about college football. The way that Coach Staley coaches her superstars is a really interesting concept to me, because there are many coaches around the country who, regardless of what the generational talent was doing on the court, they would not have the fortitude to have those conversations with their athletes. You've seen it all the time, where athletes can pretty much do whatever they want to do simply because they're highly recruited, or they're very talented, or they have a lot of stock in the program, or people are counting on them. All those things that happen, but Coach Staley, that's not what the team does in those situations.
Yes. And I'm interested to hear your take on Lou Holtz in this situation, just because Lou Holtz had a reputation. Hey, he had coached, he'd won a national championship. There are few coaches who can handle this. I don't know whether you agree or not. John McKissick was probably one of them because of what John McKissick had done. There are few coaches who can handle this situation like Dawn Staley can. Quite frankly, Nick Saban is one. Kirby Smart is one. I'm not sure Jim Harbaugh, maybe because of his just long reputation both in the NFL and college. I don't think Ryan Day can. I'll give you an example. I think Ryan Day's a good coach. I don't think there's anything wrong with Ryan Day. I don't think Ryan Day can address a player like this and basically have complete control.
I don't know if Ryan Day has addressed a player like this. We have clips from Ryan Day when he's talking out both sides of his mouth about the quarterback and what's the quarterbacking situation. And he gives the old, well, we're going to have open competition and we never know what the next day is going to bring. And he's talking all of this gibberish. I don't know if Ryan Day has ever actually had the stones to have that conversation. Many of these coaches would not have this conversation. They would just let the player go to the bench, figure it out the next day, and then there wouldn't be any conversation to have. And like Don said, it's hard to do those things. It's tough. It's not an easy conversation. You promise this kid opportunities to come and play. And when the situation doesn't work out, every coach does not have the fortitude to be able to do that. So I don't know if Ryan Day could do that, but I also don't know if Ryan Day would do that. And I don't know if a lot of coaches would actually do that.
And that's kind of my point. You have to have, I think, as a coach, and this will go back to where we're going later on in the program, you have to have, I think, such a pedigree and reputation, not just be a good coach, right? It's one thing to be, as they would say, a player's coach. This isn't about being a player's coach. This is about you having the pedigree, the reputation, the background that all those players, they might not like it, but they understand you're in complete control. Gino Auriemma does have that at Connecticut. Pat Summitt had that at Tennessee. We just watched what happened with Angel Reese, and I'm not sure we ever really know what exactly happened. A lot of rumors.
Well, we don't know what happened with Angel Reese during that conversation, but I did see when Kim Mulkey got her 700th win, I believe, and I saw the celebration with Angel Reese in there with her coach. I do believe that Kim Mulkey has that type of relationships where obviously we've seen many coaches probably would not have taken that option with Angel Reese. So in that same breath, I did see a relationship that is developed where you have to trust that the coach is doing what's best for you and what's best for the team. Team first, obviously, but what's best for you is also involved. And sometimes what's best for you may involve me telling you some harsh truths that you don't want to hear.
803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in this morning if you want to do so. We'll wrap up hour number 1. Brian Rosefield set to join us in hour 2 around 7:30. We'll get more into what South Carolina and Clemson have to do tonight to win that game. We'll start to break that down. We'll also talk about the upcoming high school basketball tournament, the Bash, right here in Columbia. We'll get you information if you want to get out to that. So a lot of things that you can weigh in this morning. A couple things here is Neil weighing in and said, in my opinion, one of the best moves Dabo Swinney ever made was sitting Sammy Watkins to start the year after he got in trouble.
There you go.
It clearly showed no person was bigger than the team. Todd weighing in, our Crimson Tide, Roll Tide Todd, saying sort of the same conversation Coach Nick probably had with Jalen Milroe earlier in the year. Maybe so. I don't know. That's a
15.
And that does deserve a lot of credit to Nick Saban for bringing Milroe along. Maybe Tommy Reese as well.
Those are two great examples. And obviously two dudes who have been very successful in coaching.
803-404-6100. You're listening to The Early Game.
Ever been on this date?
You're a good-looking man.
Thank you.
Very pretty. Real soft, delicate features. They're real feminine.
And thought, man, I'd rather be listening to the game right now.
Welcome in to the afternoon show alongside Elijah Campbell. I'm Jay Phillips.
Well, just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the game app. Sure, you may no longer be with that person anymore, but you'll never be without the game again.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Former Massachusetts Senator Charlie Baker didn't become NCAA president to shuffle the deck chairs on the Titanic. Baker has proposed a radical but smart and long overdue plan to enable schools to actually pay student athletes by establishing a special trust fund. The devil is always in the details, but kudos for at least getting the ball rolling. It's about time. I'm Boomer Esiason. CBS Sports Radio.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers Stay Hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be 21 plus in President State where Alpha Wager FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager only $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700. Visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas, 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Help is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Save the date. Join Canty Foundation Specialists and the United Way of Kershaw County on February 24th in Camden for the Caring Hearts benefit. There will be live music by the Mike Veal Band and Camden's own Megan Davis. Dance the night away, enjoy an open bar, and savor food catered by Lilfred's. Canty Foundation Specialists and the UWKC are coming together to raise funds for New Day Transitional Housing, helping families get a fresh start and a second chance. Tickets are available at Eventbrite under Caring Hearts Benefit or UWKC.net. Let's make a difference together.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
Those stomach issues ruined your birthday.
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa?
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
There are good gifts, and then there are great gifts. I just shopped at Kohl's, and let me tell you, I found some really great gifts. And all for less, like 50% off Cuddle Duds bedding, a Ninja Blast portable blender for under $60, and 30% off toys. Then I got 20% off some of my finds, and I earned Kohl's Cash. Don't just take it from me. Hurry to Kohl's to get the best gifts for everyone on your list. Select styles, toys, coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. Offers end December 6th, 20% off valid through December 10th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
The early game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
DC weighs in on our live stream. Go to youtube.com, search 107.5 The Game. Click join and subscribe. He says, I've tried to tell that harsh truth with my wife's cooking. Didn't go well.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Not all truths need to be told.
Yeah. Maybe it's not. Maybe you have to massage the message a little bit, which I'm pretty sure. And I've never been coached by Coach Staley. Pretty sure she just lays it on the line. I'm not sure there's a lot of beating around the bush.
I suspect, yeah. I bet there's not really softening the blow. I think it's just go for the kill.
I think that's just what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which players probably appreciate too. You may not want to hear it at the moment, but eventually you'll appreciate it.
I'm thinking I'm one of those. Maybe I would be tougher than I think, but to me, I think I would be the one that would be like, I'd be a puddle of goo, and she'd be like, "Get out." There's no crying in basketball.
You can be that way when you win. You can be that way.
Oh, I'm not.
You're
blaming
allowed.
her at all. I'm just not sure I'm strong enough.
We'll get into honesty in especially college football coming up later on this morning. If not this morning, definitely get into it tomorrow. But you can be that way. But you have to win, right, Preston? Like you have to have you can't show up. I don't think you can show up in this day and age. And I want to use the word hard bleep that I would prefer not to use here at 6:50 in the morning as kids are heading to school. But you can be I don't think you can be in this day and age. I don't think you could be Lou Holtz.
No. Cannot. No, absolutely. I don't know if you could have even have been. It was only one Lou Holtz even in 2000. And again, it was definitely trying for sure. But his motto was always, which somehow he implanted it in our brains, was, "You will become us. We will not become you."
Right.
And that he would say that over and over again. So whoever was coming in, and when you could kind of trace the trajectory of that time in the program, you could see when things started to falter a little bit, it was probably because we were bending what was the existing culture towards players that were coming in, and things were changing at the time. Yes, you have to have an established culture, and always having an established culture, regardless of what they say, regardless of anything, winning helps everybody receive a message. It's just like if somebody's giving you advice about how you should live your life, and then you're looking at their life and their life is in shambles, you're probably not going to really take that advice, right? If somebody's doing well, they got some money, they got to drive a nice car, you may be more apt to listen to them. Now, I'm not saying you should, not saying that what they're saying takes value over someone else. It's just the way things are. So when you're winning as a coach, you're more likely to stick around and hear some of those harsh truths because you know that this person has a proven track record.
803-404-6100, almost as if a national writer was listening to the program. John Rothstein, who actually does a pretty good job, and I enjoy. He can be a little annoying in the off season for college basketball, but he is the host of the College Hoops Today podcast. He is an insider for CBS Sports. At 6:07 a.m., he said he put out a tweet. Is South Carolina going to be a factor in the SEC this season after its 7-0 start? We'll have a better idea after tonight's game with in-state rival Clemson, who is also 7-0. Biggest game yet for Gamecocks in the Lamont Paris era. Almost like he's listening to one Preston Thorne.
Appreciate you, Jason, for bringing that to my attention at least. But I'm really concerned with John because I'm not sure. I don't know what he's got going on in his life, but 6 o'clock tweeting about South Carolina and Clemson basketball. I don't know if that's an indication of the game being big or is he just wacko.
This is really fun. And yes, both are true.
Yes,
John Rothstein is probably one of the few people on Twitter X that I toggle between following and unfollowing because his stuff is good, but he can be very annoying. But it is a big game. I don't know if you would deem it a big game nationally just yet, but for I think both programs now, Clemson does have a very good win over Alabama on the road that will kind of keep them propped up for a few weeks. South Carolina, you win this one, there's going to be some people, you still have to prove yourself. 18-game SEC slate, you're going to prove yourself. But this is one where you win, and at least going through the end of December, people go kind of take notice of you.
Also, and I alluded to this in the previous game when we were talking about Shane Beamer versus Dabo, why the game was big for each of them. I'm not completely versed in Clemson basketball and all of that, but I do know that when I talk to people that are followers of Clemson, when they think about Clemson basketball, to me, the word that comes to mind maybe is stale, and in the sense that maybe stale or underwhelming, as maybe they expect a little bit more than they've gotten. Brad is obviously a very consistent. Maybe he gets more done with what he has, but I think those folks up there want more. And if this little upstart team from Columbia can go up there and get a win in Little John, I don't think that bodes very well for the Brad Brownell era, to make that a saying.
Let's come back to that for a second because I have a theory on Clemson basketball and other Clemson sports in general, and I'll be interested. Our Clemson fans listening,
Shout out to any Clemson fans listening.
I'll be interested to see if people agree with me on this. I think there is a reason that Clemson has retained Brad Brownell for as long as they have. I'll get into that. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Look here, man. It's Preston Thorne here for Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. They'll come out to your location, and they'll give you a free quote for any job. They will come to you wherever you are, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, wherever you are, they will come out to you, give you a free quote, and they'll replace it for you, usually for free, and they'll work directly with your insurance to take away the headache. Now, if you're at home and you've been looking around and you say, I want to do something in this place, I want to change things up, maybe you can start with new windows or mirrors. Absolute Glass will come out and take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures, whatever you need to do. You hear me say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Introducing Herndon Certified. Herndon Certified used vehicles are quality assured and come with our 60-day warranty, complete with nationwide coverage. Don't just buy a used car. Buy a Herndon Certified used car and drive with confidence, knowing Herndon's got you covered. Find your perfect pre-owned in-store or online at HerndonChevy.com.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile. Smile.
Give the gift of glow this holiday season at Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Buy a spa package, get a free massage or facial gift card. Enjoy the tranquility of their massage services and the rejuvenating glow their facial services provide. Visit any one of their Columbia area Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa locations or handandstone.com to view their exclusive online offers and to find the spa nearest you. Restrictions apply. See spa for more details.
The holidays start here at Kroger with a variety of options to celebrate traditions old and new. Whether you're making a traditional roasted turkey or spicy turkey tacos, your go-to shrimp cocktail, or your first Cajun risotto, Kroger has all the freshest ingredients to embrace your traditions. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save now on 80% lean Angus ground chuck. 16-ounce packages are only $3.99 each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Rolling Jackpot is the newest scratch-off second chance promotion from the South Carolina Education Lottery that feeds a prize that keeps getting bigger and bigger. Enter your tickets on the app or web to see the jackpot grow and grow. Visit sceducationlottery.com for game odds and details.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
If you are headed towards Charlotte or up that direction, expect some slowdowns. I-77 northbound, both at exit 19 and 22. So Faro Road and Killian Road, I-77 northbound. There are accidents in both of those areas. So just plan accordingly. Allow a few extra minutes if you would. 57 is going to be our high today. It is going to be a little bit cooler than it has been and kind of breezy out there. But the overnight low dropping to 30. So it's going to be brisk tomorrow morning. 57 and sunny tomorrow, that overnight low of 35. Then the mornings get back a little more normal. Friday, you're looking for a high of 64, 46 for the overnight low. Come Saturday, you're looking for a high of 72, Sunday 68 with a little bit of rain. But it's a nice kind of fairly decent morning right now. It is clear and 43 on the early game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
Hey, this is Sean Cooper from Gamecock Men's Basketball, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game.
A Cumulus media station.
The early game.
Bill Gunter.
Still working on that word that I was going for. Trying to remember what exact word I was going for.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
People don't like people that are non-people people.
Jen Jensen.
Still working on that word that I was going for. Trying to remember what exact word I was going for.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
We have 2 pairs of tickets to give away. 2 pairs of TSO tickets, so maybe sometime this hour we do one.
$7 a.m. as we get you up, get you going. Should be a fun night. College basketball. I'm a big college basketball fan, Preston. I didn't like the direction the sport was heading, but I think it's having a slight correction. I think that much like I've talked about with football this year, parity makes it fun. The NCAA basketball tournament is, to me, the best sporting event we get all season. That Thursday, Friday, and that Saturday, Sunday are always fantastic. And I'll never forget one time we had Trey Dyson in here, and we were about to start the NCAA basketball tournament, and Trey goes, "Well, I'll only pay attention if South Carolina's in it." I said, "So you don't pay attention." You've missed a lot of good basketball through the years. Tonight's fun to see both of these teams where they are at. And obviously, unlike football, and you kind of mentioned it, the season will continue after tonight. This will not ruin anybody's season tonight, regardless of what happens. It'll just give someone bragging rights. But it is interesting because you do have, as you said, the kind of breath of fresh air, renewed. I think this is creating, especially after last year, Lamont Paris, his demeanor. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I was a huge Frank Martin fan. Frank, and this goes beyond just as a basketball coach. He did things during a tough part in my life as I was going through a divorce. He reached out to me and was very friendly and always offered to talk and kind of keep my spirits up as I was dealing with a tough situation years ago. And I've always been appreciative of that outside of the professional aspect of covering him and having to talk about him. Brad Brunell is an interesting guy. And I by the way, just for clarity, having traveled to AAU tournaments and having access to coaches and talking to people, I'm also a huge Brad Brunell fan. I am a huge Brad Brunell fan. I think the world of him. He has been super nice to me throughout my life. and what he's done at Clemson, I think, is very good. But it's good. And I just said very good. I should have said it's good. I mean, Brad Brunell, if you look at it, 3 NCAA tournament appearances, Preston Thorne, 3 for him. He's 248 and 177 his career. That's a 58% winning percentage, and he is just a 50% winner in conference play. So if I give you those two numbers, if I give it, and I'm going to give you more here in just a second, but if I give you those two numbers, what is your instant thought about win percentage?
My first number was, oh man, Brad's doing well. That's a lot more than I thought. Then the second number is, I instantly made an excuses like, well, they're in the ACC, so do you concede that? Is that similar to some other folks being in the SEC as far as football is concerned? That's where my brain went.
This is his 14th year there. 14th year. He's also been in the NIT 4 times.
You said 3 appearances in 14 years?
3 NCAA tournament appearances in 14 years. 4 NIT appearances. So 7. So half of the time. Well, he's 7 for his first 13. This is year 14. So more than half the time. Here's where I'm going with all this. I know everybody, why are you talking about Clemson? Why are you talking about Clemson? Well, here's where I'm actually going with this. I wonder if Brad Brunell being brought back. Now, last year, 23-11. Didn't make the NCAA tournament. 23-11 went 14-6 in conference. Maybe they got hosed. Maybe they didn't. Not going to go back and revisit that. There are times I wonder, though, when we talk about the universities, South Carolina, Clemson, and where everything has started to go, right, as far as financials, the money from television contracts. I've always said it. Clemson will not, South Carolina will get more money than Clemson, but Clemson will not be outspent on football. And this is what I've said. Schools, if Florida State stays in the ACC, Clemson in the ACC, if you get a school, North Carolina actually might be a little bit different, but those schools, Clemson and Florida State in particular, every dime is going to football to match what's happening in the SEC and the Big Ten. Clemson will not fall behind when it comes to football. They will do it potentially at the expense of basketball, of baseball, and definitely of your lesser programs. And in situations like this where maybe an SEC school would be like, 3 NCAAs in 14 and 13 years, it's time to find a new leader. Maybe this is a situation where Clemson said, no, we can't spend the money on a buyout. We don't want to have to pay for a new basketball coach. That money has got to go to Dabo Swinney and that football program to pay for now Matt Luke and Chris Rump and
1.2 and 900,000 respectively,
and Garrett Riley, and you get the
assistant
point.
Coaches, not coordinators. I'm not to pull this train off the track, but Matt Luke 1.2 as an offensive line coach, and Chris Rump. Congratulations, Chris. Proud of you as a former Gamecock. 900,000 as a defensive ends coach.
Ooh. This is what I'm saying. That that money, it will come at the expense. And this is another thing about college football that I'm interested to watch. I mentioned North Carolina a minute ago. North Carolina's a little bit different. The Tar Heels are a little bit different. I don't know if they'll take money away from the basketball program to supplement the football program. Duke, money's going to basketball, not football. Sorry, Duke. Our football program can take it on the chin. Our basketball program has to continue to succeed. I do think that's interesting because you do look at that number, and over the last few years, as Clemson has seen what is coming with this television deal, and where that revenue they've got to have to keep up with Georgia, with Alabama, with Texas A&M, with all these schools. I wonder if Brad Brunell is an exact product of that, where Clemson goes, look, we're gonna have to sacrifice some stuff to keep football going. What if they made a change on Brad Brunell? Again, you look at it. Preston, he was last in the NCAA tournament in 2021. He won 20 games last year. I also don't know if some of these things are fire worthy.
That's a very good question. So it comes back to the expectation of who do they think they are? What do they expect to be? Obviously, with the new-ish AD, I guess he's been there for 2 years now. He's a young fella. He has a lot of innovative ideas. I wonder if he's had his eye on this position for a while and maybe he's evaluating what the state of the program is. And that's why I'm saying this game, they can do all of that, all of those numbers that you just said. That's fine, all well and good. But if they lose to a team which they deem as inferior, and this team from Columbia comes up and beats them in Little John, that makes some people that already were on the Let's get rid of Brad Train. That makes some people start firing that up a little bit more.
803-404-6100. How you can weigh in if you want to. Richard weighs in this morning, and one of the things he says, all right, we're going to remember this. I'm going to write this one down. And Richard's had some takes. This one's strong. Take this to the bank. South Carolina's men, I assume he says Carolina, South Carolina's men will not finish less than 4th in the SEC this year. Team chemistry overcomes talent this year. That's a strong take. If South Carolina finishes 4th, Lamont Paris is your SEC coach of the year and deserves a nice raise. And Lamont Paris is doing a really nice job of getting South Carolina involved with some elite talent. You have to land them. But give Lamont Paris a lot of credit. If they finish 4th, and definitely better, I'd give it 6th. If South Carolina finishes 6th or better in the SEC this year, Lamont Paris has a nice little. This goes back to what we just talked about. You know what money's about to come in. You protect that coach. You better protect that coach. And this is where that money comes in, where South Carolina could then go, hey, Lamont, it's time to bump you up a little bit. Let's get an extension out there. Let's show he's in on 2 5-star recruits right now that, again, you got to land.
Yeah, and I don't know what the Twitter algorithm's doing with me, but I've been seeing a lot of the Eli. What's his name?
Eli Ellis.
I've been seeing a lot of him. Seems to have been scoring lots of points everywhere. It seems, at least that's what Twitter's telling me. But more important than that, Bill, this is from a show I was listening to earlier. He told us to take that to the bank.
Yeah.
Is anybody still going to the bank?
Yeah, I was at the bank the other day. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you not go to the bank anymore?
I mean, I don't know if I go. No, not unless they call me, man.
Now see, my bank still has suckers, so it's worth going in. I think there's the bribe right there. You
mean the candy, not the people that come in
no,
there.
Correct.
You are the sucker.
Yeah,
going
exactly.
into the
bank.
bank. I'm just wondering, how many people are still going to the bank? Will the phrase "take that to the bank" have as much luster
as it used to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess more of an expression. But okay, so Lamont Paris, he's the quarter zip guy. If he's more impressive, is he now the half zip guy? Is he like is there something that changes in him? Now if he's gotten really good, does he graduate from the quarter zip to now he can go to the suit?
No, I don't think so.
He said he's
I think he's stuck. And he's pulled off an amazing trick because he gets to be more comfortable as his stock
Which
rises.
I've never understood the suit on the coaches, especially because they wear dress shoes, and I'm thinking, well, that's not good on the floors. I wouldn't think, which I'm sure they have.
It's fine.
Special suit, okay, but I've never understood that. Like, why are they in suits? That just doesn't make any sense. Don Staley always looks like a fashion
No, you
plate,
want to if you want to go down a path.
Yeah, I just
this goes simply back, and I don't
want to see him in jerseys.
I'm not.
Don't get me
I'm not
wrong.
being funny about. This goes back to the day and age. There was a picture that came out, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, but it was something comparing the way people dress to go to college football games, fans.
Oh, man.
In like the 40s, 50s, I think it might have been the 60s compared to how people dress today.
I see the clouds coming over the studio so we can shake our fist at them.
Yep. And I'm honestly
suits and dresses.
I'm honestly going back to the day and age of Frank McGuire. Frank McGuire was well known for one of the things he was well known for how he dressed. That's what made Jay Wright stand out, right? Like Jay Wright was the king of dressing in college basketball.
That man could wear a suit.
I mean, that thing was tailored. It was
Frank
sharp.
Martin had some interesting choices.
Frank made choices.
Yes.
He made choices. And
choices.
Yes.
Mhm.
Frank would make choices occasionally.
Dawn is, she's voguing every time, every game. But I think it's different, obviously, with the women than
Dawn
the men,
Dawn on a different level, Kim Mulkey on a completely different level.
She makes choices.
I
also.
like it. Fashion, make it apart, make it who you are.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. Lamont has painted himself in the corner because I really think, based on all my other intel that I get from him, I think he's a fashion guy.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get him back in.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
I think he's a fashion guy.
There's some layers to Lamont Paris that need
he
to
talked about hand detailing his car.
Yeah.
A man that hand details his car is not wearing quarter zips every day. That's inconsistent.
He's wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Well, no, I think part of it for Lamont is, let's be honest, wearing a suit is not the warmest thing. Like a suit is not something. And if you
why do you need to be warm on a basketball court?
when you're traveling in Big Ten country during basketball season,
Okay.
you heard of one of the things he said is that he would pull up to the facility at Wisconsin and he'd have to psych himself up to get. Did you remember that comment? Because I just laughed. He would have to psych himself up to get from his car into the facility.
Well, there's overcoats for when you wear a suit.
Yeah, but when you're going into a basketball, it's just
all these nice clothes, man. Listen, I do have a fashion take, but the quarter zip is raining right now. It's working well, so we're gonna roll with it.
The better part is people are buying in because
I know.
last year he just had kind of the bland garnet, the black, the white. The last one I saw him wearing was white, but it had some pattern to it, like looked a little bit more upscale.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say I was first to this, but I spotted.
You were definitely the first.
I spotted this trend early.
803-404-6100. There's your fashion segment on a Wednesday morning. Hope you're
prediction. What you think Coach Paris is gonna be wearing tonight? White? Does he wear offset of the team? What's his?
It's a good question.
What's the
You
scouting
got to pay
report
better
on that?
attention.
Let's pay attention to that.
We'll look into that. Rodney this morning weighing in says, stop comparing Frank Martin to Lamont Paris. You have to. And a little bit because they're such complete 180s. I really, I mean, it's kind of like it legitimately in a way.
Do you ever wear a tie under a quarter zip?
Oh, that's no.
Ooh, all right. We don't have time for this because yes, you can. But a quarter.
I know. I'm not.
How do we
I'm not
define the
saying-
quarter zip? Because I've got this, like what I'm wearing today. Is this a quarter zip? Quarter zip? It's more of a sweater.
In technicality, yes.
In technicality, and I could get away with if I had to go.
You're
to
just
a
not as cool as Lamont.
funeral.
Let's
No,
just
I'm
be
not.
honest.
I'm not. I also don't hand wash my car. That right there. We'll continue to talk about this. Brian Rosefield due in here in about 15, 20 minutes. We will talk more about this. I do have a question I'm going to ask you. I want to go back to this. Anonymous texter brings this up. I'll ask you this I'll ask you, then we'll get to it on the other side. Says, offensive line coach is your most important, all caps,
5
behind your head coach. I'll ask you that when we get back. 803-404-6100. It's the early game.
Be listening to the game for your chance to win a family 4-pack to go see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at Colonial Life Arena Friday, December 8th. You can purchase tickets by going to livenation.com.
Christmas party season is officially in front of us now. I know I've got one tonight. Maybe you've got a few coming up here where you're going to be hosting people at your house. And if that is the case, you better go ahead and make sure that house is looking fantastic. Go ahead. Call Zero Res today. 803-262-4020 is how you can get in touch with the great folks at Zero Res with their patented ZR water technology, scientifically proven to keep the carpets, rugs, towel, all insanely clean. Trust me, anytime I need the house cleaned, I contact Zero Res, and you need to do the same. You can go online and book your appointment today, ZeroResColumbia.com, or again, make the phone call, 803-262-4020. Take advantage of the Christmas sale. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $129. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you get a hallway cleaned for free. Again, that's 803-262-4020 or schedule online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards and forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Must text and with proof credit call 888-320-6359 for details. Ho, ho, hold everything. Savings clause is coming to JT's Kia. JT will stuff your stock in with savings. Thousands off new Kias. Telluride Sorrento Carnival. Save thousands in interest. Just 0.9%. Dream of a white Christmas, but make no payments till spring. Get 20% more for your trade, up to $6,000. And if you've got coal in your credit stocking, come see JT. JT'sKia.com. Kia season of giving back.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? I'm Dr. Mark Bentley with Columbia Secret for Weight Loss, and I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged or boxed meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, call my office now at 803-824-4210.
Hi, I'm Erica, and if you want to lose weight and fix your metabolism, then this is the program for you. I'm down 30 pounds in 7 weeks, My metabolism is alive again, and I feel great. This system will not let you down.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month. That's a half a pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 803-824-4210. That's 803-824-4210. Or ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Honda ATV season is here at Carolina Honda Powerhouse, where we have all the new Honda 2024 Recons, Ranchers, Foremans, and Rubicons in stock and ready to ride. Two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, manual, automatic, and all the new colors. We've got them, and you can shop them right now on our showroom floor. Visit Carolina Honda Powerhouse in Columbia. Just take exit 70 off I-20 and turn by the Flying J, or visit CarolinaHonda.com. Honda recommends utility ATVs for riders 16 years and older and recommends that all riders take a training course.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
And out on the highways this morning, still want you to be aware of I-77 northbound at Killian Road. The accident at Farrow Road on I-77 northbound has been cleared, so traffic should be getting a little bit better, but still have to encounter that at Killian Road, exit 22. Your forecast? Cool, breezy today, 57 for the high. That overnight low, though, it's going to be chilly in the morning, 30, that overnight low. 57 tomorrow, the overnight low of 35. By Friday, we hit 64, 72 on Saturday. Maybe some rain on Sunday with a high of 68. But the sun is coming up. It is 44 on the early game.
The early game with Bill Gunter.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And Jen Jensen, your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
If you've never been to see TSO, man, they are good in concert. It's a laser light show. There's pyrotechnics. There's storytelling. It's just a lot of fun. And they're going to be here in town on Friday night. And you have an opportunity. Be calling number 7 right now, 803-404-6100. A family 4-pack of tickets for you right now. Again, it's 803-404-6100. A pair of tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra. This is one of the tunes that you definitely will hear. It's a good show. So be sure to get that call in going right now. Sorry, we have Brian Rosefield coming in right now, so we're all excited, making room for him. But I'm going to get back to answering the phones. So Brian, what's your name? Bill? Yeah.
There
Bill,
you go.
nice
Good
to meet
job.
you. Yeah.
Put just the
Caller 7 right
slightest
now.
bit of pressure on you and you crumble. But you did a good job.
I appreciate that.
TSO tickets. Yeah. Win yourself, go see Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Preston and I were talking about that just the other day about that. I think we were talking about it off air. Yeah, TSO, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, definitely definitely something I think you got to take in once.
I feel like it's something, and like I told y'all, I haven't done it, and I've always heard it advertised, and I've always heard good results coming back for it. So I will do it eventually. We were just trying to figure out whether the baby be able to handle all the lights in the stuff like that. She might be just a little bit under that, but I will be going soon.
Yeah, I would assume it seems like a great event to go to, and I'm kind of like you. I probably need to figure out a good day. Friday this week, you can go 3:00 show early, and then I think a 7:30 show at night. 803-404-6200. We'll get back into some football stuff, but obviously big basketball game tonight. Joining us now to not only discuss that, but a fantastic basketball tournament that starts up tomorrow. The Bash taking place out at Ridgeview. Brian Rosefield, welcome in, my man. How we doing this morning?
There we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, good morning, everybody. Excited about basketball, excited about this game tonight, and TSO, excited about that too. Got to see them a few years ago, and it's an experience unlike any other. I'll say that about the Bash too, but it's a show. It's quite a show.
Well, let's start. We'll get into the Bash and talk a little bit about that and what's going on there. Again, as y'all get going tomorrow, 6:00 out at Ridgeview. Ridgeview will lead it. But let's go back. You've been around South Carolina. For people that don't know, you worked with that basketball program. Gosh, it's how I first got to know you. How long ago was that now?
That was year 2000. I started as a student manager toward the tail end of Coach Fogler's time there, and then did that for a couple of years, then came back as a graduate assistant. And so, yeah, that really, really, listen, I'm a Gamecock guy, excited about anything Gamecock, but right now to see what Coach Paris and that staff are doing and those guys, like it's an exciting big-time matchup tonight. And I was talking to Matt Dowell last night at Watch Fox and asking, like, is this the first time that both teams have been undefeated this late in the season? And it seems to be, y'all would know more about it than I would, but it's going to be fun.
I think we've been trying to figure that out. We haven't quite found the answer to that yet.
Well, Tim Bray, I'll pull this tweet back up and read it verbatim so that we give him proper credit. Tim Bray, the former SID for Clemson, fantastic, knows everything. He was a 40-year SID at Clemson. Today's actually his birthday. As I pull up his Twitter account and the little balloons go crazy. So happy birthday to Tim Bray. I highly, highly doubt he is listening to this program or this station, but former SID, 40-year SID, and does an incredible job, or has always done, and is just a wealth of knowledge. But as I pull this back up, the tweet he put out December 3rd, Clemson and South Carolina will both be 7-0 entering Wednesday night's game at Little John. They are 2 of 14 remaining undefeated teams in Division I. It is the first time in history Clemson and South Carolina will meet as undefeated teams, given a minimum of 3 games played by both teams. So really neat tonight. What do you remember about your days there working with South Carolina? And you mentioned you're a South Carolina guy. You've been around. You've seen the football rivalry. You've seen the baseball rivalry. What is the basketball? Because as Preston said, it's different. South Carolina and Clemson both have to turn on gear up for a game this coming weekend. Normally it's played earlier in the season, gets lost a little bit in the football mix. What do you remember about the rivalry from a basketball standpoint?
Well, see, that's what I was going to say. I feel like it's always gotten lost in the football mix, and it was always earlier in the season, as I remember. The crowds, especially as I remember up at Clemson, the crowds didn't seem to be as much excitement about basketball as there was about football. That's what makes tonight so special. And I mean, even though I'm not still involved with South Carolina basketball, it still feels like it's like, wait a minute, this is a big time matchup. So always had really good games against Clemson. But like I said, it really kind of felt like it got lost in the football shuffle. So really excited about tonight.
You have a particular game that stood out to you during your time there that was just just either exciting or enjoyable?
Well, not necessarily against Clemson, where immediately when you say that, I think about the games on the road at places like Kentucky, places that put 24,000 people in an arena, and a place like Kentucky that really knows basketball. I'll never forget, Kentucky used to run a play off the opening tip, and they would run a back screen for this. In this case, it was Randolph Morris. I think that must have been 2005 or 2006, and we didn't know it was coming. and you could feel the crowd rise up, and everybody's like, what's going on? And all of a sudden the ball's in the air right off the opening tip, and Randolph Marsh comes in for an alley-oop dunk, and it's like, oh, they knew that was coming. We didn't.
Vogler, did Vogler look down the bench at somebody for the scouting report? Be like,
I think that might have been during Coach Odom's time. Might have looked at me as a GA like, dude, where was that in the film? What's going on? But places like that are really special. And, obviously the SEC is known for football. We get it. I get it. But also there's some really, really good basketball. But that's the first memory that pops out when I think about Gamecock basketball.
How do you talked about, I tell you, let's do this. Let's hit a break. I mean, we won't keep you here for a little while. We definitely got to talk about the bash coming up starting tomorrow over at Ridgeview. Want to get all your information. You're not going anywhere. He brought chicken butt donuts this morning. Yeah. So if you think you were here for one set, if you think you're here.
Dude, you've been to Chicken Butt this morning?
Chicken Butt, they're excited. I told them I was coming here. They're pumped up. But you can wheel me out in a wheelbarrow, Jen. That's fine.
That's fantastic, man. We're planning on stopping there tomorrow because we're going to Illinois, and we always pick up a dozen. It's only like a 2-day trip or something, so they're still fresh enough. We can warm them up and share with the family.
Yeah, So we're not letting you go anywhere very far this morning. You go hang around. A lot of basketball. So obviously, I hate to say it like this, but I think both of you know it's true. When some of the seasons have played out how they do, you get to the midway point for basketball, maybe people lose a little interest. Should not be the case this year. Should not be the case tonight. So let's hang around both high school and college. Talk a little bit about that. Get your thoughts on what you're seeing from Lamont Paris's team, as well as, again, a great event coming up starting tomorrow. 803-404-6100 if you want to send in any thoughts or questions. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, Brian Rosefield joining us this morning. It's the early game.
Gotta take.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Preston, let me tell you about my friends at Integrated Media. It's basketball season. It's the perfect time to get yourself set up, whether you're talking about your indoor setup or your outdoor setup. The holidays are here. You're hanging up the lights. Why not hang those lights around a whole system that's set up outside on your deck, on your terrace, your porch, wherever you want to get it set up. You can get Samsung Terrace TVs, get outdoor speakers, Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors. Most importantly, like I say, control all your devices from just one remote. From home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company that you need to call. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or you can check them out online at integratedmediainc.com. It's online at integratedmediainc.com.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where next-level internet speeds means next-level productivity. Choose BreezeLine and go boss mode with next-level internet and faster speeds backed by a fiber-powered network. Terms and conditions apply. Go to breezeline.com to learn more.
Plus, text entitled with approved credit card 866-243-4623 for details.
It's the most wonderful buy of the year.
You'll be singing about savings during the sale of the year at JT's Dodgeland and JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. 12,000 off new Jeeps. Your stocking will be stuffed when you save $12,000 on new Rams. Chargers and Challengers, 6,000 off. Get 2.9% for 72 months. And if you've got coal in your credit stocking, come see JT. JT'sCars.com. Wrap up the year sales event.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? I'm Dr. Mark Bentley with Columbia Secret for Weight Loss, and I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged or boxed meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, call my office now at 803-824-4210.
Hi, this is Kyle. This weight loss program sure has been great to me. I've lost 93 pounds in just 4 months, only 20 pounds away from my goal weight. It has surely changed my life.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month. That's a half a pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 803-824-4210. That's 803-824-4210. or ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
Pete L. Wine Pool and Spa is your hometown hot tub dealer where sales and service go hand in hand. If you've been thinking about buying a hot tub, come check out our full line of hot tubs and explore the benefits of hydrotherapy, which includes stress relief and increased blood flow and promotes overall health and well-being. Models start as low as $5,000. Pete L. Wine Pool and Spa, 5541 Sunset Boulevard. You'll find us on Facebook or online at PeteLWinePools.com.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. No pressure buying. Best in class service. And a $1,000 low price guarantee. The season's always better in a Love Chevrolet. I-26 at Harbison and at LoveChevy.com. Find new roads.
For the real story behind some of wrestling's biggest moments, it's Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson, too.
1995, when WCW announces they're going to be live and head-to-head with Monday Night Raw, feels like this would have been something Vince would have kind of laughed off.
No, we did not like them moving to Monday nights. There were a lot of hotels. They all carried CNN, TBS, and TNT. Vince was convinced that Ted Turner had deviously done this deal to get in the hotels and keep us out.
Something to Wrestle, wherever you listen.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
And things out on I-77 northbound, still a little bit of a slowdown at Killian Road there, exit 22, due to an earlier accident. There had been one at Faro Road that has been cleared, but things just kind of sloppy up there right now. But your forecast, not terribly sloppy at all. Cool, breezy today. 57 for the high. It's going to be cold, though, in the morning. Overnight low of 30. And same for tomorrow, 57 for the high, but it'll be about 35 tomorrow morning, Thursday into Friday morning. 64 for the high on Friday, 72 on Saturday. Could see some rain coming in for Sunday, but really a nice weekend ahead overall. Right now, though, it is 42 on the early game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$7:35 on a Wednesday morning. South Carolina and Clemson tonight. You can hear it right here on 107.5 The Game, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach as we get you up and get you going here. Pregame will start 7:30 tonight. Game time, tip time, 8 o'clock. Game will be televised on the ACC network, and it should be. It's setting up to be a really fun one, guys. I asked Brian about that as far as his memories. And, Brian, you talked about it. Brian Rosefield joining us, athletic director from Ridgeview High School, joining us this morning. And we're going to talk about the Bash here in just a second, a great event coming up this coming weekend, starting tomorrow, running through Saturday. But this a fun week, a fun night. And both of us, all three of us, unfortunately, seen basketball games between these two that didn't have a whole lot of luster. You two have any idea how many games have been played in this series?
Ooh, no clue. Preston, I'm looking at you.
No, I don't.
Obviously, there was a time that 2 games were played a year, a home and away. 173 games have been played in this series, and this will be the first time ever both teams are 7-0. First time ever, so should be a lot of fun. Both teams are they're one each of 14 remaining unbeaten teams. South Carolina, one of just 4 schools to have undefeated men's and women's basketball teams left in the country. So a lot of fun. Brian, how have you seen South Carolina evolve in year 2 under Lamont Paris?
You know, first of all, I wish I'd watched more this year. I've seen a couple of games and bits and pieces. They are as cohesive a unit. So, like, let me back up a little bit. I love coaching. I miss the coaching part. And now when I'm watching games, I can still see X's and O's. I can still see what's going on, but I'm more looking at the culture. Are the guys getting along? Are they listening to coaches? How are the coaches treating those kids? And right now, what I'm seeing right now out of South Carolina, it's really special. And like you talked about earlier, it's early, but it's really special. They are on the same page. They're playing their absolute tails off. They're shooting the ball, obviously, really, really well, but they're shooting in the context of what I understand the offense to be. And there's just a flow that right now it's really, really fun to watch. And I've talked to a few folks, and it's apparent that they all like each other. And again, it's early. 7-0 wins. Winning helps. When you get to the meat of that SEC schedule and maybe games haven't gone quite the way that you want them to go, maybe things change. But right now, it seems like the foundation is there, that they just really like each other and they're playing their tails off.
Preston, we had Lamont Paris in, and just the ability to hear him really describe what makes his team, what you watch and what you know as a fan, then become knowing what they're doing properly and what makes them a good team. You've enjoyed that.
Yeah, I have. And that was the question I asked Lamont when he was in here, because I'm not a basketball guy, so I don't know all the X's and O's. I know things like you see. I know how to judge team chemistry. I know how to judge if a team's on the right page. I know how to judge if a team is working. So I asked him, well, Coach, what is your idea of a good basketball? How do I know that the team is playing good basketball? And he said the same things that you said. Are they shooting the three ball when they are in rhythm? Are they playing defense? Are they crashing the boards when they're doing it? And so all the things that he expressed that he would like to see, we have seen those things. And to me, that's the sign of a team that has bought into what the coach is selling.
Should be a lot of fun. We'll talk more about that, but let's discuss what's going on at Ridgeview starting tomorrow night. I'm kind of scrolling through looking at some of the elite players you have coming in, and tell us, number one, just where this event has started from. We've had you on in the past few years. Go ahead.
Real quick, I told him in the break I was going to do this, but Coach, I got to embarrass you really quickly because you've done an excellent job over there at Ridgeview. You know, obviously, I coached at the rival, and one of the things you don't want to see is your rivals start getting it together. And I you know, coaching at the rival school, we start talking like, oh man, they're starting to get some things together. So, Coach, you've done a tremendous job over there, and like I said, I was going to embarrass you on that, but I just want to make sure that the folks know that there are some good things being done out there.
Well, Preston, I appreciate that. And you talk about the rivalry, and I'll go back to my beliefs about sport. Okay. And I'll stay here for hours if y'all have me, because I'll talk about this kind of stuff for hours. But obviously, being a Blythewood guy, there's a huge, huge rivalry and a huge competition between our two schools and the other three schools in the district. And what I talk to my coaches about all the time. And first of all, I have the best coaching staff, the best administration with Dr. Mack, all of our teachers. Ridgeview is an incredible, incredible place, a family atmosphere. I love it. Been there 18 years. Can't see myself going anywhere else. But that competition, that rivalry, that is there to help bring out the best in everybody. And I know you'd say that tongue in cheek about, I don't want to see the rival do good. I know you. But my goal is for every student athlete in our district, in our state, in our country to have an incredible experience. I know that's what our coaches are doing at Ridgeview, and I know it's happening at Blythewood and other schools as well. But being able to use that competition and that rivalry to raise the experience of everybody around sports, because it's so special that we get to go out there. Like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to beat you. And then after the game, like, hey, I love you. And thank you for that, because you brought the best out of me. That's what it's all about for me. And again, that's what we're doing at Ridgeview, and I love it. So I appreciate you saying that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wouldn't say that to everybody, but for sure, I've seen that firsthand.
Yeah. So again, the bash gets going tomorrow, 6:00. You've got a list of great teams, and we'll get to that. But let's remind everybody a little bit about this event that y'all built, nurtured, and it's really developed into something that's going to be quite special over the next few days.
Yeah. So this is the elite of the elite high school basketball coming to Columbia, South Carolina, and coming specifically to Ridgeview High School. And this year's lineup is the best that we've ever had. Every time I come in here, I say it, Jen, I say it. We have the best lineup, and here I am in 2023 again saying we have the best lineup we've ever had. The bashhoops.com is where fans can get their tickets. They can see the schedule, and they can see that list of players that are coming in this weekend, but also former players that have played in the Bash. Talon Cooper, PJ Hall is going back to the South Carolina Clemson game tonight. So this is, again, elite high school basketball. year 11 under the Bash moniker. But Dr. Mack and I, our principal, were talking the other day. She's like, well, wait a minute. How many years have we done this weekend showcase? And I said, Doc, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. It was David Gordon, our old athletic director, and John Combs, our former basketball coach, that came up with this. Hey, we need a weekend showcase that is Ridgeview's own to be able to bring the best teams in from around the country. And back then they weren't able to get Oak Hill with Quinn Cook and other guys that were on that team. Unbelievable. They played Keenan one night, they played our guys one night. So I need to go back. I'm actually going to be on with John tonight on Phil's show. We can talk about it in real time, figure out how many years we've actually had this. But again, 11 years as the Bash, used to be the Bojangles Bash. Still love our Bojangles folks. But it's just one of those events that, back to what you and I were just talking about, it puts Ridgeview on the map. It showcases all the incredible people, all the incredible things we have going on at Ridgeview, all the arts activities, the academics, of course, and of course the athletics as well, to be able to put us on the national stage for 3 days. And yeah, the lineup is incredible. Long Island Lutheran coming out there. They're number 2 in the country right now. But they have a chance with 8 of the top 115 players on one team, by the way. They have a chance to knock off Montverde at the end of the year. Montverde obviously being just in a class of their own here in high school basketball the last several years.
And you can check out Long Island Lutheran tomorrow night, 7:30. They'll take on another program that's gaining significance throughout the high school. I don't know if you'd call it high school ranks, but Sunrise Christian out of Kansas. To go back to what you were just mentioning about Long Island Lutheran, they're going to come in with, again, some
45
elite players. They'll be led by the number 5 prospect, VJ. Is it Edgecombe? Am I saying that correctly?
I hope I'm saying that right, too. That's how I say it. He's an incredible player. If you go to YouTube, this is the thing about 2023. If you can go to our website, again, thebashhoops.com, just start copying and pasting. Control-C, Control-V, type them into YouTube. It's unbelievable what these kids can do.
We'll tell you all about that. We'll give you a couple names to check, give you a little bit more to schedule, how you can purchase tickets. Brian Rosefield in. We'll get back into some South Carolina Clemson and college basketball as a whole. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Yes, that phone in your pocket or purse will keep you in touch with your family and friends. It will take great selfies of you on amazing adventures or just this morning's breakfast. And it's pretty good in case of an emergency. But the single most important function of your phone is the game.
But both defenses have been this year. What's so funny?
That noise. You can listen anywhere. Just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the game app now.
This Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Prevagen. San Fran coach Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy earned game balls after extracting their revenge against Philadelphia. Arizona's James Conner got even with his former team Pittsburgh. Nico Collins and Sam Laporta caught game balls of their own. Bud Dupree and Kwity Paye garnered top defensive honors. And Cincinnati's Jake Browning, what a performance, deserved a special achievement game ball for his performance. I'm Boomer Esiason. CBS Sports Radio.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times National Survey of Pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Liner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Just text Title with proof credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. Ho, ho, hold everything. Savings Clause is coming to JT's Kia. JT will stuff your stocking with savings. Thousands off new Kias. Telluride Sorrento Carnival. Save thousands in interest. Just 0.9%. Dream of a white Christmas, but make no payments till spring. Get 20% more for your trade, up to $6,000. And if you've got coal in your credit stocking, come see JT. JT'sKia.com. Kia season of giving back.
Palmetto Strings is South Carolina's premier string shop. All things violin, cello, and stand-up bass. Rentals, repairs, restorations, sales, and more. Shop their showroom for their expansive selection of violins, cellos, and bass. Whether you're looking for your first instrument or looking for a standout piece for your collection. Palmetto Strings is your all-in-one shop. With over 30 years experience in the industry, Palmetto Strings. Stop by at 731 Elmwood Avenue in Columbia or check them out online at palmettostringsSC.com.
The early game.
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
I've had my first half of a donut. I figured I didn't need to talk to you two during the break. I was just
catching up with my old partner, man. Talking shop in here.
You did sprint out of here pretty quick. How
Preston was I was good. I got the chocolate peanut butter one that has the Reese's cups on it. Yeah. I was like,
you need some water. I don't know if you'll be able to open your mouth after that.
You two were
They have a
you
peanut
two were
butter
going
glaze
down a
there
path
that's
of a
solid.
far more serious conversation I cared to have. I was like, I'm gonna go check out the donut situation. Brian bringing in
The
some.
laser focus. He's actually been. I was watching him kind of dabbing his chin a bit because I think he's been kind of salivating for about the past 10 minutes. Like, can we go to a break, please?
One of our, I
Have
was
me
cutting
donut.
it. I was cutting the donut in half. I didn't want a whole donut. I wanted a half one. One of our coworkers walked in the door and looked at me and was like, you look like you're doing something wrong. You look like a kid who just got caught this morning doing something wrong. I was like, oh, thank you.
There's no shame. I mean, it's an incredible product.
Oh man, right?
Well, they're not a sponsor of us. I don't know if they're a sponsor of y'all, but it's the product speaks for itself. Chicken butt.
It does.
Unbelievable.
803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in real quick, and we'll get more back into the bash coming up in the next hour a little bit with you. But your take on high school basketball, especially here in the Midlands. Now we've got Florence and Myrtle Beach as well, but high school basketball in this state, because I always think it's slightly underappreciated. I think there's different reasons for that. I'm not going to go into those, but it is slightly underappreciated. And Brian, you and I, in terms of here in the Midlands, we've seen some really good programs. Obviously, I played for an incredible coach in Bailey Harris. Tim Whipple, I think, might be a robot. He just keeps going. He's not human. He just comes. They've tried him out every basketball season. He's still going strong at Irmo. But your take on high school basketball here in the Midlands, because Ridgeview has been as dominant as anybody really over the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, I'll start there. Ridgeview basketball for the 18 years that I've been there, even before when John was there 19 years ago, even before that, was really, really, really good. And then if you look, 4 state championships in 6 years with Coach Stoneman, who's now the head coach at Oak Hill, coming in for the Bash. Excited to have him come back. Those state championships are the outward expression of how basketball at Ridgeview has been so good. We've had kids go on and play high-level Division I college basketball that just didn't get that opportunity to hoist the state championship trophy. And we talked over the years about some of our JV matchups at Ridgeview and Lexington when we were coaching together, just some really, really good basketball. But you talk about basketball in the Midlands, in the state of South Carolina, underappreciated, sure, yeah. And I'm not angry about it. I mentioned it earlier, like South Carolina. Listen, I get it. It's South Carolina. It's a football state, but there are a ton of kids. You look through the NBA, even down to Charleston, Chris Middleton, Ja Morant, Zion Woods. I mean, the list goes on. PJ Dozier. Now we're getting into guys that have played in the Bash. The state continually puts out high-level basketball players, and I think people that know, they know, and again, kind of bringing it back to this event, to be able to have an event like this to highlight all of the high-level basketball that's going on in South Carolina, I think it really helps.
You mentioned it, to get over to the Bash, Long Island Lutheran, probably the headliner, I guess, VJ Edgecombe, the number 5 prospect in this current class, Dylan Mingo, the number 13 overall prospect in the 2026 class. They also have Kyan Anthony, the number 36 prospect.
That's Melo's son.
Is that?
Yeah,
that is Carmelo Anthony's son.
That is Melo's son.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I'm gonna stop right there for a second because I get asked. Everybody's always asking me, "Is Carmelo going to come?" I will tell you right now, I don't know. I see Jen smiling over there, like he might know something. No, I don't know if he's coming. I will say though, if he does come, we want him to be a fan. We want to be able to have him watch his son, not do autographs or photos or anything like that. But our people are losing their minds at Ridgeview right now. Like our kids, I literally walked by somebody that said the same thing. That's Carmelo's son, and they're just losing their minds. So they're all excited about that. But Kyan's an unbelievable player,
and you can see them.
He's hot. Sorry, Kyan. Keep going.
From 3. 7:53. Jen with the deep 3. All right. Long Island Lutheran tomorrow night. They'll take on Sunrise Christian. You do have some locals in here. Gray Collegiate will participate. Obviously, Ridgeview. And then you have Lexington and Cam Scott playing at 6 o'clock on Saturday. And so that's good. Not just state of South Carolina teams, but Midlands teams people can get out and check out.
That's right. It's the intent of the event has always been able to match up these national versus local teams. And this year we're a little heavier on the national versus national. Some of these games will be, these are NIBC games for fans that are familiar with this NIBC.
I'm not. What does that mean?
It is the high level basketball conference that's been created the last, I think they're on year 3 or year 4.
Yeah,
now.
I think it's 4, but yeah.
With Montverde, La Lumiere, obviously Oak Hill, Long Island Lutheran, Sunrise Christian, Canyon International, Legacy, all the schools that we have coming in for this weekend's event. But it's going to be incredible. And again, thebashhoops.com. Go ahead and get your tickets now. Save $5 and get in the building before we sell out.
We'll talk a little bit more about it. Get back into some college basketball. Keep Brian here another segment or two. You're listening to Brian Rosefield, athletic director from Ridgeview. Again, the Bash will give you more information. Definitely an event you want to get to. You need to get your tickets early, too. It will sell out. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Sponsored by Canty Foundation Specialists. Cracked concrete, sinking foundation, or need new gutters, Canty can fix it. It's that time of year. Are your gutters getting clogged with leaves and pine needles? Never risk getting on that ladder again. Canty Foundation has the best covered gutter in the industry. Visit them at cantygutters.com for more information on the gutter shutter system or call today for a free estimate.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where next level internet speeds mean next level productivity. Don't let slow internet slow down your game. Kick it up a notch with a game-changing offer of 1 gig fiber fast speeds for only $59.99 per month. Terms and conditions apply. Go to breezeline.com to learn more.
Life matters. Have you ever wondered why a person of prominence came to be called a tycoon? The name is formed by 2 Japanese words, tai meaning great and kun meaning prince. Commodore Perry brought the word into our American vocabulary after a trip to Japan in 1854. In our society, tycoon generally refers to a highly successful entrepreneur. The Japanese, however, do not use the title lightly. They would never think of using it to describe a businessman or any other high achiever. They only use the word to describe their national ruler. I understand their sentiment. You see, I believe there's only one who should bear the title tycoon. I've come to believe there is really only one great prince, and I got that idea from the Bible, which describes Jesus as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. The world is full of people who want to be worshiped, but only the tycoon, the great prince, is worthy. Visit us at Christian Life on Sunday, and remember, life matters, and so do you.
Plus, text title with approved credit card 866-243-4623 for details.
It's the most wonderful buy of the year.
You'll be singing about savings during the sale of the year at JT's Dodgeland and JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. 12,000 off new Jeeps. Your stocking will be stuffed when you save 12 grand on new Rams. Chargers and Challengers 6,000 off. Get 2.9% for 72 months. And if you've got coal in your credit stocking, come see JT. JT'sCars.com. Wrap up the year sales event.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. If you or a loved one are over 65 and haven't completed a long-term care planning consultation, now is the time. Did you know that if you aren't able to afford the high cost of skilled care, your assets can be rapidly depleted to only $2,000 unless you plan 5 years in advance? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina. Palmetto Cards and Collectibles is your go-to shop for all the sports enthusiasts in your life. With a large selection of football, basketball, and baseball cards, Pokemon cards too. The search for the perfect gift ends at Palmetto Cards and Collectibles, 404 West Main Street, Lexington.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
And out on the highways, we're still looking at a couple accidents. I-77 northbound at Killian Road, trying to get that cleaned up there at I-77 northbound at Killian Road. I-20 westbound at I-77, we also have a report of an accident, as well as 321 at I-26. Breezy, cool today, 57 for the high. That overnight low, though, chilly, 30 for the overnight low. 57 tomorrow, overnight low of 35. And then warming up for our overnights. On Friday, the high will be 64, overnight 46. And by Saturday, it's up to 72. Maybe some rain on Sunday, but right now it is 44 on the early game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Josh Simon, your South Carolina Gamecocks tight end. You are now listening to 107.5 The Game.
A Cumulus media station.
The early game.
So I'm curious as far as the game is concerned now, because you kind of got warmed up yesterday and asking a question of the coaches. Are you going to have that sideline pass so that you're really going to be the roving reporter during the game?
No. I'm maxed out, done for the year.
With Bill Gunter, Jen Jensen, former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
Because I had to kind of pay attention.
That was your
right there.
fault. You didn't
Right there.
identify yourself.
He's toast.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$8 a.m. on your Wednesday morning. South Carolina Clemson basketball tonight. You can hear it right here on 107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. We'll have the pregame starting at 7:30. First time ever, Gamecocks and Tigers meet, having played a minimum of 3 games. They meet undefeated. That's the first time ever. So some juice to the game tonight. And, you know, Brian, Preston, we've talked about it. This state, football-centric, obviously. But great basketball being played. And it's fun when you see the Gamecocks and the Tigers get together for a game that means that John Rothstein is tweeting about this morning, that will have a little juice to it tonight, because for South Carolina, if they win and they can beat East Carolina on Saturday up in Greenville, North Carolina, chance for them to be ranked. For Clemson, hey, you win this one, you win another 2. Who knows? Maybe you get into the top 15, top 20, where they're right there on 20 in the coaches poll, 24 in the AP top 25. But Preston, we've kind of talked about it this morning. This is fun to watch. And really, for South Carolina, especially us, you win this one. You look at the remainder of the non-conference schedule, it could set up for people to really get invested in and make Colonial Life Arena a fun home court advantage for SEC play starting in January.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I was thinking about this. If they can get over this hump, and again, basketball is not football, so it's not as if losing this game is going to be really that detrimental on the season. But for the local buy-in, for people to want to be involved in something, being involved with the team that's undefeated, a team that's making a run, things are changing, things are happening. There's a new culture building, and you sort of start to saw it the last game that we played at CLA. The environment was a little bit different, a little bit more charged, and always, as Brian I'm sure would tell you, winning always helps that moving forward.
It really does, and I'm looking ahead of the Gamecock schedule here. After you mentioned East Carolina, Charleston Southern, Winthrop, Elon, and Florida A&M, some games that may not have that juice, but when we get to January, it's boom, it's SEC season. So being able to keep winning and then fill that building up on the men's side. Obviously, the women are doing it for good reason. What Dallas Daly's doing is for good reason. But to be able to have that happen for the men at the same time, that's going to be off the charts.
Brian, for you, former coach, you've been around the college game, worked for Dave Odom, worked for Eddie Fogler. How do you see Lamont Paris's offensive style clicking with what I'd say the new era of college basketball? How do you see what Lamont tries to do fitting in with like what recruits what recruits want? Like, how do you see that working?
See, I think that's where I was going to answer. I hope I'm going to answer your question. I was going to answer it more about the guys that he's brought in.
Okay.
And obviously we're in the era of the transfer portal. Not going to belabor that, but it looks like right now, 7 games in, and again, the cohesiveness that I'm seeing, and Preston, you're talking about it too, that he has recruited experienced guys, Studi, Mack, the whole deal, Cooper, the whole deal, that fit his style, that want to come in and that have done it at a high level at Division I around the country, and now they're coming in and really doing it so far so good in 7 games. So I think that it appears to me that he's not force feeding, hey, this is how we're going to play, but he is saying, hey, this is our vision, this is the flow that we want to have, dribble, drive, and get out and run and shoot the 3, and he has the guys to be able to do it.
And then he's got to maintain some of the guys that continue to do it, because that's part of the transfer portal right now, is not just retaining players, but you're bringing in guys who are experienced. I think after this year, Michi Johnson's done, BJ Mack's done, Talon Cooper's done. And that's why I think this year is important for him, is building off of what he has to go out on the recruiting trail and point and show, hey, here's what we've done, here's what we've got. Real quick, he's redshirting this year, but from Westwood, Arden Conyers, who's going to take kind of a year and get bigger and stronger. What's your thoughts? What was your thoughts on him as a high school player?
First of all, great kid. John Combs coached him, did a great job developing him. Just what I would consider a slippery guy getting in there. He just somehow, how did he get in the lane? How did he do that? Can step out, shoot the 3. Great kid, great defender, long. I would expect big things out of him in a few years to come.
So he's going to take a little time off, or he's going to take a red shirt season and get better with him. But I'll go back, Preston. This is a year that, yes, I don't want to say it's not like Lamont Paris will be on the hot seat. I think he's going to have time to build this thing. But if you win this year, you can build a little bit of a loyal following. You can build momentum and excitement to go and recruit, because there's more good kids, Brian, that you can kind of address. They're coming up through this state that could help this program.
Yeah, there really are. And back to the transfer portal, I said I'm not going to belabor it here. I am talking about it again. I don't know how college coaches do it. I have buddies that are still coaching in college, to be able to recruit the high school, high-level kids, but then also kind of out the corner of your eye, looking at the transfer portal and saying, well, that kid, he just went for 15 and 10 at a Division I school. We need him maybe more than we need the high school kid. And I know that's the case. So maybe it's the other way. They're looking at the portal first, and then out the side of their eye, they're looking at the high school kid. But you're right, to be able to keep it going. And it's in college basketball these days, you are recruiting a new team every year. And the portal has made it where you can be able to fit those needs that are leaving, like you talked about Michi being done this year.
I have to ask you this, because we've had JoJo English on in the past and his take, and I know a lot of people wonder, do you think there has been in the past, not now, but in the past, there's been a disconnect between the high school level of South Carolina and the University of South Carolina?
Man, Man, that's a tough question. I might need a donut before I
thank
answer
you,
that
chicken butt
one.
donuts. We're having a good time during the
I'll be
break.
back. Let's take a
I know
break.
for the guy that said he didn't want to get serious. Here
No,
I'm just as the only serious
Yeah.
guy I'm going to ask because people do
No,
talk
but it's
about
fair.
that.
It's a fair question.
Yeah, no, in my experience, no, there has not been. Now, I'm also a guy that I make the effort to stay in touch. And obviously, I'm a South Carolina basketball guy, so Coach Odom and I always had a great relationship.
Right.
Obviously, Coach Fogler, Coach Martin. I never worked for Coach Martin, and yet he would have me in for practices all the time. If I asked, I'd ask Andy, say, hey, can I come in? Yeah, no problem, no whatever. And so I made the effort to be around, have gotten to know Coach Paris and his staff again. But maybe that's just because I'm a Gamecock guy. I can only say from my experience that there's not a disconnect. But you may have another coach in here that may say something different. But I do know that connection between whatever sport is we're talking about. In this case, we're talking about men's basketball. That connection between the college coaches and the university coaches and the high school coaches, it's huge. It's huge. And it's developed through team camps. It's developed through clinics, anything. So if you're a high school coach out there, if you feel, I'm feeling a little disconnected, reach out. Say, hey, I want to come to team camp. I want to bring my kids to elite camps or whatever and get to know those coaches. I think it's a huge win for everybody.
I don't think this is a serious question, but I'll get one more out of you on this. Me having done basketball recruiting, it feels like football, and Preston, you can kind of weigh on this. Football needs to have more of a statewide connection, whereas basketball times, and there's been a lot of good players that have come out of the Midlands. There are a lot of really good players, but it feels like sometimes basketball needs to have more of a connection with your, I don't know, draw a circle about 30 to 40 miles out of Colonial Life Arena and say that's the area you need to have the best connection with. It just feels like, at least in this state, you start going into Latta, where Raymond Felton was from. You go into Myrtle Beach. You go into the Charleston area. I think back to, again, Chris Middleton down there. And I was talking about Didland, R.J. Slauson, and Bruce Ellington back in the day. But it feels like the further out you go from the university, the less your connection is. And I, for some reason, understand that in basketball, whereas football, I feel like you've got to be able to touch all corners of the state. Preston, can you kind of see that and agree with that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Well, the thing about South Carolina, and I say this all the time, but it's not a big state, man. There's only the concept of 6 degrees of separation. Well, in South Carolina, it's like 2 or 3. I know somebody that knows you, and we can get to pretty much anybody in the state very, very, very quickly. But the talent base, I do think, if I read the room right, for basketball is more localized in the Columbia.
That's what I think. I don't know if Brian agrees with that.
I do think that more localized because, and it's changing due to Tom Knotts and Ridgeview and some other schools around the metro. But in South Carolina, in the years past, the metro wasn't known for football. It was known for basketball, and football was in the other parts of the state. And football coaches would definitely let us metro coaches know. They had a term they used to use for us, which I can't say in the morning.
Thank you.
But basketball, it seems like the metro is where the more of the talent is. Of course, you have some outliers here or there.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting discussion. I think I go to the word perception, and I mentioned Zion Williamson, obviously from the upstate. Delon Cooper from the upstate that went elsewhere. John Morant from, I guess, the Midlands and Sumter area. Middleton, you mentioned down there. Charleston, Ramon, goodness, I forget the Sessions down there at Myrtle Beach.
He was a good Noah Clowney, who just got drafted in the first round. Dorman Thomas has done a really good job up there with them, and
absolutely. So I think the reason I bring up the word perception is that it seems to be highlighted more when, in this case, University of South Carolina doesn't get, oh my goodness, they didn't get so-and-so from the Midlands. They went somewhere else, or they didn't get so-and-so from elsewhere in the state. They went somewhere else. If for some reason it seems like it's highlighted more, and maybe that's just my hurt feelings as an old basketball coach, I don't know. But you're right. South Carolina is a small state. And I go back to what I said earlier, the talent level in the state has always been good. Obviously, football, like we talked about, but the amount of basketball players that are coming out, South Carolina can't get all of them. Clemson can't get all of them. And of course, I'd love to see more of those guys stay at home. But again, goodness gracious, and I could go now. We're talking NIL stuff. The landscape of high school basketball. Oh my goodness, like it has changed so much, especially within the last 5 years. But even before that, with the amount of money, the amount of training, the amount of facilities that are available at other schools, even for high schools. But now, the options that are available to these kids. College level, it's incredible.
803-404-6100. Yeah, I mean, again, you go back. I hate to say I haven't heard and don't know how he's doing, but you go back a few years ago, Keenan had Jazz Gortman, who I know went to, I think, Overtime Elite, and I think he's eligible for the draft this year. Maybe he was eligible last year and didn't come out. I'm not sure. Obviously, G.G. Jackson, we know what he is doing. Again, you look around, Cam Scott from Lexington is a top 40 player this season, and we now know he's going to Texas. I mean, that's 3 in about 3 years, and you can start going further and further back to players that have come out. And a lot of people will always say South Carolina's best days, late 80s, Barry Manning, Joe Rhett, Jamie Watson, guys, and obviously what was going on with Eau Claire and Lower Richland. I know I ran into Lower Richland my junior year, and we only lost by 10, but it was a lot worse than 10. I can promise that. But yeah, it's been a lot of people say, hey, look at Frank's team. Obviously we don't consider Lancaster the Midlands, but Sindarius Thornwell, Justin Mackey, PJ Dozier.
I think you bring up great points about those old school Eau Claire, old school South Carolina teams, and that Final Four team that Frank Martin took to Phoenix, I think 2017, which was incredible to be there.
Yeah.
And anyway, those were experienced teams. Those were local guys. Again, the talent in the state, they stayed home, and then they stayed and they developed. And now, I don't know if we'll ever really see that again for teams around the country that are going to have these 3 to 4 year guys, because there's just so many more options available to them. So I just don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll wrap up with Brian. We'll get a lot of information on the Bash, where you can get tickets. You need to get them probably today.
Please.
Big names are coming in. And one other thing I'll just point out, you were talking about Carmelo Anthony. It is an open recruiting period. You will see coaches there that you see on television. Probably John Shire will show up. Normally, Herbert Davis, Hubert Davis.
I love the feeling in a stadium or a building when there's a college coach in the room and everybody's just like.
The funniest thing would always
love that feeling.
The funniest thing would always be when somebody would lean over. He's not as big as I thought he was going to be. Krzyzewski's a small guy. Roy Williams is tiny.
I love that's one of my favorite things.
We'll get into the Bash when we come back. You're listening to Brian Rosefield, Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
The game will be at the beach, in the PD, and the Midlands. That almost covers the whole Palmetto State. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
It's that time of year. You need a reliable vehicle, and you might be in the market for a reliable vehicle. You might be thinking about what you need to get, and at Love Chevrolet, they're going to have you taken care of, because number one, they're not going to sell above MSRP. They're going to offer you the absolute best deal of anywhere. They have the $1,000 low price guarantee, which means you can go shop other dealerships, take their deal back to the folks at Love Chevrolet, and they will top it, or else they'll write you a check for $1,000. So that's great. You're getting a fantastic deal. Number two, you always want a large selection. You don't want to just be choosing from 5, 6, 7 cars. You want 14 acres to choose from. That way you can find the interior, the exterior, all the gadgets you want. And at Love Chevrolet, they've got that taken care of. So you got selection, you got great price, but you also have a sales team that is ready to help you. That is exactly why they've been in business for over 60 years. Not just because of the great prices, the great selection, but because of that sales team. Go find out for yourself. Visit Love Chevrolet today and find new roads.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Text Titan with proof credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. Ho, ho, hold everything. Savings Clause is coming to JT's Kia. JT will stuff your stocking with savings. Thousands off new Kias. Telluride Sorrento Carnival. Save thousands in interest. Just 0.9%. Dream of a white Christmas, but make no payments till spring. Get 20% more for your trade, up to $6,000. And if you've got coal in your credit stocking, come see JT. JT'sKia.com. Kia season of giving back.
The holidays are upon us.
And
all the people in your life need a happy place to come and be together.
And
all you have to do is point. And all of your clutter, junk will disappear. And you'll have a big, open, happy home where you can get together with all the people you love.
now I get it.
Out with the dull, lifeless junk.
In with sparkling, lively people.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Unleash the delight.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? I'm Dr. Mark Bentley with Columbia Secret for Weight Loss, and I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged or boxed meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, call my office now at 803-824-4210.
Columbia's Secret for Weight Loss changed my life. I've lost over 50 pounds, and now I have metabolic flexibility. To me, this program is more than just about fat loss. It's about a lifestyle. Throughout this program, the guidance and accountability help create a pathway to a healthier, better me.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month. That's a half a pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 803-824-4210. That's 803-824-4210. Or ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
Trucks, we want trucks.
New Silverados are on the ground now, and more are on the way to Herndon Chevrolet. We're taking up to $15,000 off to get you in your new truck. Stop by your hometown Chevy dealer and shop all your favorite models at prices you'll love. Find new roads at Herndon Chevrolet or visit us online at herndonchevy.com today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile. Smile. Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. Do you know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? The difference could easily save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in long-term care costs. Visit lawyerlisa.com to schedule a consultation today.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Honey, you need a trust.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
And traffic definitely picking up out on there on the highways this morning. I-26 eastbound before St. Andrews Road, the two left lanes currently blocked, and that is actually causing a slowdown about 5 miles. So allow extra time if you are needing to travel that direction. Also, Blythewood Road at Syrup Mill Road. I-20 westbound at I-77, a tie up there. I-77 northbound at Killian Road in the cleanup stages. And Spears Creek Church Road near Wood Creek Farms Road. Also, you'll find an accident. 57 for the high today, that overnight low. It's going to be cold in the morning. 30 will be that overnight low. High of 57 tomorrow. It's 44 right now in the early game.
The early game.
With Bill Gutcher, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$8:20 on a Wednesday morning. Joined in studio by Brian Rosefield. We're kind of going over. We'll take a little trip. We'll keep him here for a minute. When you bring chicken butt donuts, you basically have the mic to yourself. This is you basically can get it. You just be like, hey, go out there. We'll go out there and just start snacking. What'd you just have? You just had a cinnamon toast crunch.
Cinnamon toast crunch. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Approved, highly approved.
Mm-hmm.
So we're
nutrition at its finest.
Yes.
It's not hard to figure out exactly how to get us away from the mic early in the morning to be able to take on whatever you want to talk about.
Pretty much like a dog, just kind of dangle the food.
I've wandered
we'll go
out.
wherever.
No
problem.
Just totally have free reign
But
in here.
when they are brought in by somebody very nice, there's no calories. Did you know that?
I did not read that on the internet,
that's
but
how it works.
I believe
These
it.
are the sugar-free ones, right?
They are.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have a lot of schemes like that I have in my
Yeah.
mind. So I'll just add that to the list.
There you
There you go. There you go.
Somebody else buys no calories.
No calories.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. 803-404-6100. Real quick, let's go down this path. Best player, best high school player. Brian, you and I have been around Midlands basketball for a long time. Preston, you've seen the low country players. You've got one in particular that basically single-handedly took
Destroyed
y'all
us.
out.
Yeah, as y'all know, I'm from Somerville, and we grew up always watching Somerville, and Somerville's a football town. But we had a decent basketball team, and we was just playing Pinewood Prep, the local school in the area, and we was playing some guy named Chuck Edson. And Chuck, this is not an exaggeration, Chuck scored at least 47 of the 51 points to beat Somerville. I think the score was 51-49. And they would just basically run what's the old North Carolina offense? The boxing
Four
one.
four corners, yeah.
He was at the top of the four corners. And he would either just shoot. I believe he probably was like 25 for 25 from the free throw line. And it was infuriating as a spectator trying to hype our guys up when you really clearly know there's nothing that they can do.
Mm-hmm.
I love when you see an elite. Football is interesting because sometimes you don't necessarily see somebody that's elite, but there's no mistaking on a basketball court. The elite guys, you walk in the gym, you say, "Oh, that's there they go," because it's the same for women also.
Yeah, I was thinking about this morning. Actually, the first time that I ever snuck down as a student at University of South Carolina and sat on like row 2 in the old Frank McGuire Arena. And I was like, oh my goodness, the athleticism, it's unbelievable to see up close. So you're right. They're not wearing pads, no helmets, nothing, can't hide it. Unbelievable athletes up front and center. Yeah, Bill, what a great question. You and I have seen a lot.
Yeah.
I go back to my days of playing high school basketball, and Chuck lit us up in high school playing against he was a great player. There was a kid, Seiko Kamara, that went on to play from Senegal, I believe, that played at Thomas Sumter Academy. So here comes this 6'4" kid. He ended up going to play at George Washington. He would come down off of a break. They'd kick it ahead to him. He would jump stop from, at least in my mind, from NBA range and bank it in for three.
Okay, whatever you got to do.
On purpose. On purpose. He was just that accurate. I think about that. But I think about, and listen, we've had G.G. Jackson, a lot of great players that come through Ridgeview, but Jonathan Kuminga, who plays for the Warriors right now, he is, I think, by far the best high school player I've ever seen in person. He played at the Bash, I think, 3 or 4 years ago now. Came down from Our Savior New American. Unbelievable player. Unbelievable. He's the best high school player I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're two different categories there. If you talk about in-state players, Thomas hits me up. A guy that I actually played a little AAU ball with, Buddy Harper from Keenan, who was just as dominant as any player I had been around. I still think probably because he just ate us alive. Thankfully, it was my junior year, and I didn't have to scrimmage against him and or play him in the state championship. Ed Scott was as good as anybody. Ed was quick. I mean, we played Ed in the state championship game, and within the first 2 minutes, it was Ed Scott 9, Lexington nothing, and he was just lightning fast. Obviously, went to Clemson, and by his, I think it was senior, he was dominating the ACC. I mean, he was having 30, 35-point nights and was fantastic. We played Chuck down at the Citadel. Passing was not in Chuck's vocabulary at that point. It was Chuck and 4 dudes. There's 4 people. I felt like Pat Idson, the father, went around the school. Was like, "You want to play basketball? It's good. I got a guy. You in too? All right, y'all go on the court." Chuck, there was nothing, but Chuck obviously came. You were familiar with Chuck during your time playing there, and I think 2099 through 03. He had the unfortunate injury that kind of, I don't say derailed his career, but limited what he went on. People don't know this. He went on to a great career over in Europe.
Mm-hmm. He did, and you talk about not passing then, but he developed into.
Yes,
obviously did, because he would put it on you. I mean, it would just come out of nowhere. He had an incredible ability to see the floor. As Chuck Edson,
I did not know this on our text line. Sterling's weighing in. I did not. Is Ed Scott the coach at AC Florida? Did I miss that?
He is now.
I did. Congratulations to Ed. Yes, Ed single-handedly. Rowe was good. Ivan wasn't bad. Robert Dugans was pretty good. They had Todd Williams. That Lower Richland team in '99.
I'd be remiss not to mention my guy Aaron Lucas. Whenever and the thing was, I known Aaron on campus. And when you see Aaron, I don't know if he's listening, so apologize. But when you see him,
I think he's
like, all
teaching
right.
now, but
Yeah, maybe you see him, you're like, all right, cool, man. I heard you play basketball, all right. And then you just see him jump up and bang. You're like,
yeah,
where'd that come? What? Where'd that come from? And it's just the athleticism that some of those guys that play basketball players are. Like I say, football players can sort of slink around. You might look at a guy and be like, oh, he's a big guy. I wonder what he does. Or some of the DBs, you may not even notice. You may not even know that those guys play sports, but you see those basketball players, they have to duck in to get in the rooms, and they're just taller and lankier than everybody else. It's tremendous. I also say this, and I say this all the time, Bill. I love a packed stadium on a Friday night, but you're hard-pressed to find a gym on a Tuesday or a Friday night that's packed with rivals that are playing against each other. It's one of my favorite things to see a high school basketball environment that's charged and both teams have something at stake. I say it all the time. I probably will never not say it. If you're looking for something to do with your family, take them to a high school game. Especially we got so many good teams around here. Take them to a game. The energy, the atmosphere is awesome. I'm just always an advocate for those things.
That's the thing, and I'm going to bring it back to the Bash here. That's the thing about this event. Again, we've talked about the basketball, the teams, and the players that are coming, but when we pack it out, and we will pack it out, and then we have DJ IM in the corner, and he gets the crowd swaying, and it is my favorite thing to do. I don't even have to walk through the gym, but I'll make up a reason and say, you know, I'm going to stand in this corner. I'm just going to walk the length of the floor and go to the gym lobby and just kind of check it out. But that's the energy that I feel walking through the gym. That's the experience of, in this case, high school basketball and experiencing the Bash. It's incredible.
My head coach, Bailey Harris, weighing in, he says Kevin Garnett's the best to come out of South Carolina that he ever coached against.
I think I heard of him.
Yeah, he would. I've still got that great story by Rick Barnes about running in. He was coming in to take the Clemson job, and they ran into Kevin Garnett, and Garnett promised an official visit to Clemson, and they thought, oh, we're about to get this thing rolling right off the bat. But, yeah, there was some really good ones. And to your point, man, when I was playing in Coach Harrison, we had the old Lexington High gym, and you had to get there at 5:30 for some of our games against Irmo and North Augusta. And there are Temple of Doom over at Irmo. Obviously, Eau Claire has been known as good as any place as there is here in the Midlands. I think it's the Diamond Mine at Lower Richland. There is a history that we tend to gloss over or don't give enough credit to for high school basketball in the state. I was, again, talking about Coach Harris and Coach Whipple, George Glimpf, obviously a big part of that, Carl Williams from Lower Richland and all the things he did. There's been some great basketball coaches. We'll come back. We will wrap up Ryan Roseville. We'll keep him around, and we'll talk about the Bash. Yeah, at this point, you may as well just stay till 9 o'clock. We probably I keep saying that. We'll keep you around till 9, but we'll talk about the Bash when we come back. You're listening to the early game.
Ever sit in this meeting?
What would you say you do here? I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that?
Think to yourself, man, I'd rather be listening to the game.
You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Well, just go to iTunes or Google Play and download our app on all of your devices, and you'll never be without the game again.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. All right, we went back down a little bit today. Today, you might have needed the heat this morning in your house. And if it was struggling a little bit, you didn't think the house was warm enough, don't wait another day. Call AAA Heating and Air this afternoon, 803-677-1500. Again, that's 803-677-1500. That's how you can get in touch with AAA Heating and Air. If you're a senior citizen, 62 years of age or older, it's time to get your complimentary heating unit checkup. You need to call today, Mitch and me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and get AAA Heating and Air out to your house. If you're not 62 years of age or older, you still need to do it. Trust me, I woke up one Christmas morning miserable. I'm pretty sure the Grinch showed up and stole our heat. But AAA Heating and Air came out, fixed the whole problem, and we were ready to go the rest of Christmas Day. So don't let that happen this year. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Tell them you heard it here on 107.5 The Game with Bill Gunner.
With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service. Guy Gant's not with us anymore, but his girls are. Madison Gant just walked in. How you doing?
Doing great, Woody. How are you?
Good. Madison, I see your trucks everywhere for Pioneer Tree Service. Tell us some of the people you work with.
We've been very busy with residential and commercial customers.
So, Madison, you're doing the State House, Midlands Tech, City of Columbia, University of South Carolina. So you're going to want to call somebody you can trust, and that is the Gant girls at Pioneer Tree Service. And now there's a new little Gant girl, Dawson. We got all the Gant girls in the room.
We do tree removal, stump removal, tree pruning, tree trimming, tree thinning, tree cabling, and we will raise your tree canopy.
And no matter where you live, the Gant girls can get there. So, hey, Gant girls, how do they get in touch with you?
Call us today for a free estimate at 803-794-8253 or check us out online at pioneertreesc.com.
Plus, text entitled with approved credit card 866-243-4623 for details.
It's the most wonderful buy of the year.
You'll be singing about savings during the sale of the year at JT's Dodgeland and JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. 12,000 off new Jeeps. Your stocking will be stuffed when you save 12 grand on new Rams. Chargers and Challengers, 6,000 off. Get 2.9% for 72 months. And if you've got coal in your credit stocking, come see JT. JT'sCars.com. Wrap up the year sales event.
Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause thousands of dollars in damage to your home's foundation. Canty Foundation can replace your gutters and save you money.
Canty installed gutter shutter.
Call us today for your free inspection.
Canty can fix it.
Having a reliable gutter system is essential to protecting your home's interior and exterior. Heavy rain can unleash gallons of water onto your home, and poorly maintained or leaky gutters could lead to roofing, siding, and water damage that is expensive to repair or replace. Online at candygutters.com.
Bill Gunner for my great friend, Dr. Dan Balknight with the Men's Clinic. The Men's Clinic is a local clinic with a well-respected physician and Dr. Balknight that will oversee your health care. It's not like programs you see online. This will be tailored to your individual needs. So contact the Men's Clinic today, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS, or you can visit them on the web and learn more. mensclinicsc.com.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet, where saving is always the name of the game. The lowest price, guaranteed, or they'll pay you $1,000. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The Game on Demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner. 107.5 The Game, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach, 100.5 The Game in Florence.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
And it has gotten a little bit busier out on the highways for sure. I-26 eastbound before St. Andrews Road, the 2 left lanes are blocked, and that really has traffic snarled up for a good 5 miles. So plan accordingly there. Blythewood Road at Syrup Mill Road, still working that accident, as well as I-20 westbound at I-77. I-77 northbound at Killian Road in the cleanup stages. And Highway 321 at I-26, also a report of an accident. 57, sunny and breezy today, and an overnight low of 30. Then tomorrow's high 57, that overnight low of 35. Warming up for the weekend, 64 for Friday, 72 on Sunday, some possible rain on Sunday. 45 right now in the early game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$803-404-6100. I tell you what, we're talking basketball. Let's give away a pair of women's basketball tickets. Dawn Staley and the women's team, they are set to host Morgan State, and we've got a pair of tickets. That'll be tonight, 7 o'clock, Colonial Life Arena. So if you want to win a pair of tickets, okay, we'll take caller number 4. Caller number 4, 803-404-6100. 6,100. You can win yourself a pair of tickets to the women's game tonight, 7 o'clock. So you go. Not trying to be mean, but let's be kind of honest about this. You can probably go down there at 7, catch the first half of the women's game. They're going to probably be up by a significant amount of points. I never encourage anybody to leave early, but then maybe wander over to an establishment, a restaurant somewhere in the Vista, and catch the men's game. Feeling pretty good that the women are going to hold on to what will likely be a 35 to 40-point lead.
Feeling confident on that one? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So, yeah, caller number 4 right now. You can win yourself a pair of tickets to tonight's women's game against Morgan State. We'll also try and give away a pair of Bash tickets here coming up in the next segment as well. And you can get out and check it out because, as we mentioned, you have the chance to see, I mean, how good of a player is. He's number 36 player in the 2025 class, but Kyan Anthony, and he's really not even the headliner. There's a lot of great players this weekend. And that's going to cause the gym to fill up. So people that maybe if they don't win a pair of tickets today to the Bash, how do people go about getting tickets? Is there a different price if you order online versus walking up at the door?
Yeah, the prices will go up at the door. Go to the bashhoops.com, and that's linked on our main website at ridgeviewsports.com as well. Save $5 if you get the individual day ticket, but the best deal in town to me is to go ahead and get that 3-day pass. I think I checked last night. We're sold out of our VIP courtside reserve seats now, so we expect that to happen every year. So get that 3-day general admission pass, be secured, make sure you can get into the gym. If you have that ticket in hand, you'll be able to get in. And, you mentioned those players, but the overall list of the top 150 players in the country, we have 25 of them coming. And we talked about Long Island Lutheran coming here. Obviously, our Ridgeview guys are ranked number 1 in 4A right now. The local teams, Lexington, the Cam Scott, Great Collegiate, Dion bringing a great group over. It's just, again, a special event, being able to match up those national versus local teams.
Again, how can people purchase tickets? Again, as you kind of mentioned, it's going to be full. So today would probably be the day if you want to go online.
This is the day. So the bashhoops.com, if you don't win those tickets that Jen will be giving away here at some point, the bashhoops.com, get those tickets. We will sell them at the door for a higher price if space is available. But, you know me a long time. I'm a people pleaser. I want people to be happy all the time. I'm the guy that has to go out and post that sign that says we're sold out and break hearts. I had a gentleman drove up years ago when Seventh Woods, another great high school player that played in the Bash years ago. Guy said, "Hey, I drove from Arkansas. Can I please get in?" And I said, "Sir, I'm so sorry. We're shut down. We cannot get anybody else in this gym. So don't make me do that. I really just, please get your tickets now."
He actually meant Arkansas was just right down the road, just outside of Pillion.
right.
He's in Newtown. So go get your tickets. We'll give you a chance to win a pair of tickets. Real quick question coming in. Is a high school league pass good for the Bash?
High school league pass is good for the Bash as long as space is available. And again, I don't want to have to break any hearts. If we're sold out, we do online tickets. It's a pretty slick system that we use with hometown ticketing. If we're sold out, then we can't get anybody else in the building. But if you want to guarantee a chance to get in, go ahead and buy that ticket.
It has been a lot of fun talking with you, and I hate to do this. We do have permission now because it is being reported, and I hate to do this, but I want your thoughts and feelings on this. It is being reported now that a very loyal South Carolina fan, Gamecock Jesus, Carlton Thomas, who if you are unfamiliar with exactly who that was, Carlton Thompson, who was known as Gamecock Jesus, had the flag, has passed away this morning. Brian, we understood this about 20, 25, 30 minutes ago and wanted to wait for the blessing of the family, but it's now being reported in a couple different places. I know you had a personal relationship with him from your time working there, and he's a very loyal Gamecock fan who went out of his way to make sure at every game. I've got some funny stories about him on press row throwing his flag into the air and it landing on Phil Kornblut while Kornblut's trying to do his work. And I would die laughing. There was nothing. Kornblut would just look over at him and be like, and then Gamecock Jesus Carlton would go back to stomping on the metal bleachers that would cause your computer to bounce up and down. Unfortunate news this morning of his passing, but I know he means a lot to you.
Yeah, he's a great Gamecock, a great man, and the epitome of just a true fan, a true genuine person, always giving. A huge loss for Gamecock Nation today.
803-404-6100. Obviously, he was the guys I just mentioned. I don't have a personal connection with him, but he was as loyal as they came. He was a guy that, again, created some funny stories because while he might have been beloved, you celebrate people in a time like this. I can tell you right now, there's probably a lot of beat reporters and people who had to come to Colonial Life Arena and sit over there in press row. People from Kentucky and Florida who didn't quite understand who he was and his passion for South Carolina, and he will be missed greatly. His presence at South Carolina basketball games, at South Carolina baseball games, his loyalty to the program. Again, I didn't know him personally. I also know outside of being a fan, he was an incredible human being, helping a lot of people here in the Midlands. I know he would bring people to South Carolina basketball games in particular. Hate to hear that this morning. Hate to hear it. But our thoughts and prayers with the family. Best of wishes to them. And certainly if there's any more information we're allowed to pass on, we certainly want to do it because incredible person. Again, Gamecock Jesus, also known as Carlton Thompson. I don't know if it's Gamecock Jesus, a.k.a. Carlton Thompson, or if it's Carlton Thompson, a.k.a. Gamecock Jesus. But again, thoughts and prayers with the family. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We will wrap it up here on the early game. Brian Rosefield, Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, she's Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
107.5 The Game on demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
On the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Fairfield by Marriott, official hotel partner of the NCAA. Trevor Lawrence's ankle injury Monday night rekindled discussion about the plethora of marquee quarterbacks already lost for the season. Meantime, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Brock Purdy are all playing behind the NFL's 5 best offensive line. When Philly's offensive line is totally healthy, it has to be considered the league's best. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio. Get the home field advantage every time with Fairfield by Marriott, official hotel partner of the NCAA. Whether you're a student athlete working toward your championship dreams or your team's biggest fan, Fairfield by Marriott has everything you need to get ready for game day. From comfortable guest rooms to complimentary hot breakfast, Fairfield is part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels and official hotel partner of the NCAA. Visit fairfield.marriott.com to book your next game day stay.
O'Reilly.
The O'Reilly Auto Parts Holiday Gift Guide is here. If you're struggling with gift ideas, we have several options for gifts under $20, like a digital tire gauge, screwdriver sets, LED work lights, and more. Our professional parts people will help you pick out the perfect gift for that hard-to-buy-for person. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Save the date. Join Canty Foundation specialists and the United Way of Kershaw County on February 24th in Camden for the Caring Hearts benefit. There will be live music by the Mike Veal Band and Camden's own Megan Davis. Dance the night away, enjoy an open bar, and savor food catered by Lil Fritz. Canty Foundation specialists and the UWKC are coming together to raise funds for New Day transitional housing, helping families get a fresh start and a second chance. Tickets are available at Eventbrite under Caring Hearts benefit or uwkc.net. Let's make a difference together.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-485-6262. 800-485-6262. 800-485-6262.
The early game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Let's give you a chance to win a family 4-pack right now of tickets to the Bash tournament this weekend. Brian Rosefield's been in with us all morning. We'll take caller number 5, a family 4-pack of tickets. Brian, is it one particular night? Is it all weekend?
All weekend.
Okay. All weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Family 4-pack of tickets. We'll take caller number 5 right now. If you want to win a family 4-pack of tickets, the tournament again, or it's a showcase, not really a tournament, different there. So you can go to thebashhoops.com and look at the schedule and know what games you can make it to. You can kind of plan out your evening, go catch 1, go catch 2. But family 4-pack of tickets, caller number 5 right now, 803-404-6100, and we will email those two. We'll give the email to Brian, and he will email you the tickets there. So call in, give Jen your email, and we will do that. Here's a fun morning talking about this. And again, if you don't win these, remind them where they can go and purchase tickets online or how they can get them.
If they don't win these, go to thebashhoops.com, click on tickets, and get them while you can. And it's funny, you mentioned that it's a tournament. I used to correct people all the time. It's not a tournament. It's a showcase. And you're right. It is a showcase. We go ahead and preset those matchups. There's no bracket. There's no trophy at the end of the night. It's just, who do you want to see? Plan your weekend around it. And again, I still feel like the best deal in town is that 3-day general admission pass. Go ahead and get it and see 25 of the top 150 players all weekend long.
It'll be good. And then right after on the 10th, you have to start planning for next year.
That's right.
Just start getting it ready. So make sure you get out there this weekend. The Bash, or I should say over the next 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Again, you can go to thebashhoops.com if there's a particular game that you want to see. And if somebody does purchase a ticket, it's good for all games that day, correct? It's not just, you don't just go purchase a ticket to see, say, Lexington play and then they clear out the gym. You can get the one ticket, get you into all the games that evening. It actually, let me give you the schedule one more time, pull this back up just so people understand if they want to get out this weekend and go check it out. It starts tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. St. Francis first host Ridgeview. Long Island Lutheran, the team we've kind of been talking about, 7:30 tomorrow night against Sunrise Christian, and then a late game, 9 o'clock, Oak Hill Academy against Canyon International Academy out of Arizona. Friday, it'll get going at 6, a game at 7:30. That'll feature a local team, Gray Collegiate, taking on St. Francis, and a 9 o'clock game, again, with host Ridgeview taking on Sunrise Christian. Saturday, everything will get going at 4:30. At 6 o'clock, you'll have St. Francis taking on Lexington, my alma mater, go Wildcats. 7:30, Oak Hill Academy versus Legacy Early College, and 9 o'clock, a local game, Blythewood versus Ridgeview. So
that's right. And like you said, those tickets are good for all those games. So it really is the best deal in town. You mentioned that Blythewood versus Ridgeview game. That's going to be so much fun. Preston's excited about that.
It'll be packed.
That's a game that we normally play during the regular season. Obviously, we're in the regular season here too, but we looked at the schedule and said, you know what? Let's do that. That'll be a lot of fun. Be able to wrap up the Bash after all of these incredible games, to pack out the gym. Blythewood versus Ridgeview is going to be a ton of fun.
That game will be packed and it'll be a lot of fun. Shout out to Coach Washington at Blythewood.
And again, one opportunity to see Long Island Lutheran. That'll be tomorrow night, 7:30. So if you win these tickets, you're going to want to get there early, get a good seat. But Long Island Lutheran tomorrow night versus Sunrise Christian, 7:30. Let's wrap it up here with tonight's game, South Carolina and Clemson. And Preston, I'll start with you. You've listened to Lamont Paris and him talk about his team. You've had a chance to watch some of it. biggest thing you're looking for tonight? Talon Cooper distributing, Michi Johnson being able to make shots, BJ Mack doing things down low and stepping out. What do you like tonight in this matchup?
It seems to me that this team goes how Michi goes. And so if Michi can catch the ball in rhythm and start making shots early, I look for them to have a pretty successful day. What I'm interested in is, let's say Michi doesn't get it going. Can some of those other guys fill in the breach, and can they compete? But to me, my key would be to look how Michi goes.
Brian, you've had a long association with South Carolina basketball, with basketball here in the Midlands. You're familiar with Brad Burnell and Clemson as well. Real quick, your thoughts on this game being two undefeated teams, being something that I don't know if it necessarily brings the state together. Maybe it brings them back together after the football game divides the state. I'm not sure. At least we're all happy that both teams are 7-0. But your thoughts on this game for the state?
Yeah, so as we talked about a while ago now, the lateness in the season to have two teams that are undefeated, I think, is huge for basketball in South Carolina. And I like how you say that, bring everybody back together after a football game where it might divide the state. But I know Clemson's favored in this one. I'm excited to be able to watch just a really good basketball game with two legitimate high-level basketball teams here in the state of South Carolina. And listen, I feel good about our Gamecocks. I really do. Going on the road, play a little bit looser. I like what Coach Parrish said in his interviews yesterday. Hey, it's a game. It's being able to show up and do what our guys are expected to do, and I feel good about it. And I like what you say about it. Kind of go with Michi. And
is that where you're going in terms of the key for the Gamecocks tonight? Is Michi?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna defer to y'all because y'all, like I said earlier, y'all have watched more than I've watched. But I will say, if they can show up and they can be cohesive like they've proven they can be, I feel good about our Gamecocks tonight.
One guy to watch, we talked about in-state kids, local kids. PJ Hall tonight was a guy that has gone up to Clemson, is averaging 21 points, right around 7-8 rebounds a game. He is the catalyst for Clemson. This is probably what I would guess. I've got to kind of go back in my mind, but this is probably the biggest test for South Carolina on the interior. And you're going to see more guys like PJ Hall when you get into conference play. And how South Carolina defends him, Hall, much like BJ Mack, can step out, can knock down shots. That's going to be the interesting matchup tonight for me. Is BJ Mack, I'm assuming that's the guy South Carolina goes with to try and match up on Hall. Again, both are similar skill sets, different bodies, but similar skill sets. If you can limit PJ Hall, Joseph Girard, the guard for Clemson, keep him from going off, much like Clemson will try and focus on Michi Johnson. Tigers, by the way, you asked, I had to look this back up. Clemson tonight, 8.5-point favorite. So Vegas leaning strong with the Tigers, and what's South Carolina's, it's another big test going actually on the road. Real quick, Brian, from what you've seen, talk about the difference in playing on a neutral site against Virginia Tech versus going into Little John tonight.
Yeah, well, I think I go back to what I said, my experience as a manager in GA. Will Clemson put people in the stands? I don't know. And I think that's going to be a big question mark. If it's packed, then okay, yeah, it's going to definitely be a different experience walking into a hostile environment. But again, I don't know. Will they pack it out? Will they not? And you talk about that matchup between PJ Hall and BJ Mack. It's interesting that, again, back in the portal here, I'm talking about Preston. I'm talking about it again. I'm sorry. But these guys have played against each other. They've known each other a long time when BJ was at Wofford. And now we're in a different uniform. See what happens with that matchup. But you're right. Both guys that can really take you down into the paint and then step out and shoot the three. Both very, very good players. We'll see how that one shakes out.
Pre-game coverage will get going here on 107.5 The Game, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach at 7:30. Tip time will be at 8 o'clock. You'll be able to hear that game again. Women taking on Morgan State tonight as well. So big night of basketball, but for once we get one that has a lot of meaning. And Preston's right. More games to be played, but tonight, a lot of meaning, maybe a little bragging rights.
A lot of bragging rights.
A lot of bragging rights.
We're on our way.
Brian, we appreciate it. A lot of good insight and Chicken Butt Donuts. Thank you to them.
Thank y'all so much.
Absolutely,
this has been so much fun.
Absolutely, a lot of fun.
Good luck with the bash this weekend. We'll definitely have you back in soon to talk more basketball. Y'all have a great day.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon.
Can talk about the transfer portal.
Yes, we yes. Y'all have a good day. Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we